Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Ostiaris, but you can call me Osti, and welcome back for more The Great Ace Attorney. Where have we stopped? We finished the first investigation of the fourth case of the second game, and now we're going to begin the courtroom trial. Yes, yes. The Old Bailey, the finest antechamber. Let me just. Yeah. Okay, now. Remember. Okay. My best friend, who I have believed to be dead. He lost his memory somehow, but has now materialized as a prosecutor in the British courtroom. How 9 years of difference? He is so young. 10 years ago, he was 14. He was so young. Oh, we have you on the list here. A man who disappeared without a word to his family. He was a former chief warden of Berkeley Prison. Do we have your father in here? No. We don't have Oshigi, no. Oshile Asogi, no. I don't remember his name. Odachi Asogi? Mm, not 100% sure. Okay. That is that old familiar feeling again. The crushing pressure of this historical courthouse. Actually, no, it's a little different today. There is an even more menacing tension in the air. That's just Barok. There is a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there, I suppose? Yes, I think so. Can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. A little more courtesy, if you please. Oh, I do apologize. However, you're certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary. How included in the trial will you be? What do you mean? I'm not privy to details, however. I understand that no jury has been selected. Why? A trial without a jury? Well, that's just like... That's the trial of the professor 10 years ago, or, every single trial in Japan. A closed court. Good morning, my dear fellas. Why are they doing a closed court? Is the public gallery going to be closed? The Shams, have you made note of my hair? Mr. Oh yeah, you were able to fix the problem. An outright victory for science, you must agree. To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem. I'm going to just be honest, I also completely forgot about that plotline. What to one man is a little hair problem is to another man a day of drinking dubious potions after dubious potions. You have no idea how my stomach ails me this morning. Oh dear, how awful for you. I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes. Good morning to you, Mr. Ripper. I'm so delighted to see you looking so full of vim. And to you, I see London's celebrated great detective is as active as ever. Oh yeah, I didn't check if the sound was okay. Should be fine. Oh, let me pick up my controller. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my paltry engagement with a few trivial cases, the Ripper overbearing presence is a far greater deterrent to the black roots of crime in our capital. And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point on which I would readily commend you. What an honor. And that would be your eyes for a good lawyer, sir. Mr. Sholmes. After all, behind this lawyer, there is a very great mind, my own. What are you trying to say? I wish only to say you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Ripper. Sorry to barge in. So, my... Oh, did she always have this armband? So, in my head, This was somehow orchestrated by Strongheart to eliminate both Gregson and and Barok because he is the Reaper. How is that somehow going to be connected to the Leviathan, who's probably going to be the real killer? Gina. I mean, I do think he's going to be the real killer because if it's not him, I don't think it's Shiro or Mikotoba. And I don't think it's Barry, so there isn't really much else. What is that on her arm? It's a morning band, I suppose. Ah, Mother, shouldn't you be at the symposium? It's me, Pop Stone, so I have some free time. I decided to come along with the police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. I shall be very interested to see the fruits of your study over the past year. Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see. So it's not a closed trial? Hold on. Yes, Gina. Why did you agree to this? Why did you take him on? This Reaper bloke, everyone says it was him who killed the boss. Sorry, Gina, but I just don't believe that. Just reply, and everyone believed that you did that. You killed that man. We defended you. Well, if it wasn't him, who was it? I don't know that yet. I don't care who calls what. The Reaper is just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. And if it turns out it was him who killed the boss, then God help him. Fierce eyes indeed. Yes, the culprit deserves every ounce of your loading. At least there may be some solace to the deceased. It's sad. It makes me sad how this affected her. Please, Oda. Get whoever did this for the boss. Oh, Gina. I generally think Gina is probably the character that I have the most emotional connection out of the game. I hate feeling this useless. There is nothing I can do. So you gotta find who done this and make them the wretch pay. Cost for the defense and the defendant. Court will be in session shortly. Make your way into the courtroom at once, please. Alright, here we go. It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. Lord Van Zix. One who lost his treasured brother to a mass murder. One who lost his treasured father in a foreign court of law. And one who lost the man who helped her escape destitution. All that misfortune, all that pain, on course to collide headlong in this trial. It's time to shine a light on all these dark events. This honestly could be the final trial. And whatever truth is revealed, we're gonna have to look at it straight in the eye. Are you implying that Shom is the actual real Reaper working for Strongheart? I still haven't forgot the plot line of the knife that Matilda used to kill in the carriage on the third case, having the same initials as the as both his name and Strongheart's name. Right? Yeah, Mael Strongheart, MS. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct the fair and just trial of the defendant, Barok Van Zix. Also for the defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin? Okay, so there is a gallery. The defense is ready, my lord. The prosecution is more than ready. Oh yeah, okay. There was something in my head Because this sentence feels like isn't this how Edward talks? Because on the first case tutorial, I remember pointing this out. He has Edward's animations. He has like the point finger in the head thing. Kazuma-sama, I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long. It feels... But I never pictured it would happen like this. I never thought I would be facing you behind the prosecution bench. And he has both swords. Sorry? The so-called Reaper of the Bailey has been a scourge like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today we must uncover the truth behind this scourge. In other words, this trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Gregson's murder. The truth revealed by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions throughout the judiciary. I'm still saying wrong, but fuck it, let's just go. Accordingly, they are to be conducted as a closed trial with no member of the public present. Okay, so why is everyone here to watch? By Her Majesty's direct orders. So who are these people? How will that work, my lord? The burden of all arbitration and adjudication falls on my shoulder. Therefore, as you will see, the jury bench shall remain vacant today. If no member of the public are present, may I ask who is currently occupying the gallery, my lord? They are members of the judiciary, here to witness proceedings and ensure a equitable trial. Members of the judiciary. Oh, this is a very unusual trial already. There is of course another unprecedented aspect to these proceedings on which I must elaborate. The counsel for the prosecution and defense are both aliens of Great Britain. Would be really cool if the jury was like defense attorneys and prosecutors. I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. As I stand here in this courtroom now, I'm quite certain that this is the reason why I have to come to Britain. Kazuma? Very well, let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Asogi, your opening statement, if you please. Certainly, my lord. The incident took place in 1st November at just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay? The location was a building of flats on Fresno Street on the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property. Inspector Tobias Gregson, a name very well known. A name known very well indeed to this court. Not least for his miraculous resolution of one of this country's grimiest cases 10 years ago. The Professor case. We have to have a flashback showing the case at some point. There is no way. How sure are you about the time of the incident? Several witnesses on the street outside heard a gunshot, and all have reported at the same time. That's what Gina told us too. There were a number of witnesses. I have here a plan of the room. The victim was found curled up in one corner. I believe that he was shot from the front at point-blank range and died instantly. It's believed, sorry. How has the range been determined? There were scorch marks around the entry wound. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. But powder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words, it only happens when the target is at point-blank range. See, yes, thank you. Yes, thank you for the detailed explanation, Counsel. Okay, let me take a look at that first. Tobias Gregson Mayo, 45 British time of death, not exactly. Courtney Maria Gorey. Cause of death, victim was shot in the chest, close range from the front, resulting in some death. Scorch marks at point of entry, the bullet exits the wood from behind. The caliber of the gun used matches that of the standard issue firearms for members of the judiciary. Match! That's all it does. The murder weapon was lying beside the victim. Have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm? No, my lord, not conclusively. Bravo, Kazuma-sama. We're not trying to use the gun as evidence when its provenance can't be proven. Furthermore, my lord, as I have explained, the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed to the victim and struck the wall behind him. There is a candelabrum mounted on that wall, and the tip of one of the candles in it was found to have been blown off by the projectile. We noticed that too, didn't we? Yes, that's right. Thank you for the thorough report, Counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me. Let me just... Okay. You will submit the plan of the crime scene as evidence, please. As you wish, my lord. Okay, before we continue, as always, small room, the body, okay. No, it was close range. I don't think here the body move with positions. I think it's difficult. The position and also the blood stand on the floor and the scorch mark. It's difficult to imagine that maybe he was killed here and move it here. There is no point in moving the body to this specific position also, so I do think it's safe this is the correct position, and the scorch marks do indicate that it was close. Okay. Is this Fresno Street room Inspector Gregson's... Is this Fresno Street room Inspector Gregson's private abode? No, my lord. The room is rented to a Mr. Hugebone. But there is precious little furniture inside, and it is generally in a poor state of repair. So what on earth was Gregson even doing there? Presumably he was investigating some case or other. When the policeman was informed of the gunshots from the witness and rushed to the scene, he found only the deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside holding the revolver. The attending officer arrested the accused on the spot. So, the details of the case are clear. In that case, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Name, please, counsel? Naturally, the accused himself. Lord Van Zix. As a prosecutor, he believes in the oath of office he's taken and will be compelled to tell the truth. Well, I'll defendant take the witness stand. Wouldn't normally we start with the police who found the crime scene? Okay. And his music is already playing. So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Barak Van Zix, Old Bailey prosecutor. I presume, Lord Van Zix, that you heard Prosecutor Asugi opening presses? I did. It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime, and that you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this? Yes, my lord? Yeah, I'm sure the court would like to hear our explanation. To hear you explain some things away. Namely, why you were there in the room on Fresno Street at the time in question. And what exactly took place. I intend to explain nothing, I will simply tell the truth. I must say, Lord Van Zix, I never imagined this day would come. Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come, but since you became known as the Reaper, a part of me has always been dreading it. Our formal testimony then, witness? Why would we cross-examine this? I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries have led me to that address. When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside it, and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard a gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. Just as I picked up the firearm to examine, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. So he was dead before the gunshot. The gunshot, and the gunshot is a different shot that happened close by. And he was already okay. So the time of death is going to be the big thing about this. And Kazuma confirmed that they are using the time of death based around witness testimony and not autopsy report. It was only then the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. That testimony was the whole truth. It was. So, you hear a shot being fired in a room with no living occupants. A moment later, a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes. Is that it? You're right, you haven't explained away anything. In fact, that would barely qualify as an excuse. I thought you were my mute apprentice. Yet it turned out you have a way with words, Prosecutor Asogi. It would appear to be a singular tale indeed. Singular isn't the word, it's laughable. According to Kazuma, you're not being the bro, you're being a bully! Come on! Very well then. Counsel, you may begin your cross-examination. Yes, my lord? Okay, let's just do presses as always and just see. Because do we even want to contradict something? You were investigating the Spectre. What on earth for? I'm not at liberty to say. Sorry. I have identified a distinct possibility that Gregson was involved in a case I was investigating. Regrettable, though, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed. Is the court to understand that on the day in question you followed the victim to the scene? No, I was privy to his movement in advance. How? I stole into his office in the yard and consulted his diary. The address on Furnace Street was noted in the 5 p.m. entry. You illegally entered the main office. In Japan, that alone would constitute a very serious offense. As it does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Lord Von Zix? I was aware of the possible consequences. So, in summary, you were investigating the victim, and yet you refused to tell the court why. I didn't realize the British prosecutors enjoy such freedom to choose what to divulge under oath. Why did I ever think I could defend this man? When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside, and I saw no one. We do know that the room has a lot of like wood plates blanking the window.
Hold it!
Have you ever been to that address before? No, never. I only learned of the place as a result of my investigation into Gregson's activities. There was no light inside when I entered, so it was all but impossible to make out anything. But at 5 p.m. the sun would only just have gone down. It would still have been reasonable light outside. The room has a window, but it was boarded shut. Very little light found its way into the room from outside, so it was extremely murky inside. I wouldn't have noticed if the victim was already lying on the floor. There was no artificial light in the room, you say? You're quite sure? I'm quite sure that the part of the room where the body was found was very dark. I have a feeling there was a small oil lamp burning on the desk, so I couldn't say for certain. Look, Mr. Naruhodo. There is a small desk in the room just here. Yes, there was an oil lamp on it as well as the framed photograph. When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and started to walk towards the desk to investigate. What did you find? Nothing. I never actually reached the desk. A moment later, I heard the gunshot and spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. So, who fired the gun? I have no idea. I didn't see anyone else in the room. You say it was very dark in there. Yes, that's right. Oh, I can tell you, I didn't sense another presence. And could it be the gunshot originally from somewhere outside the room? Nope, that is out of the question. Oh, without doubt, the sound emanated without doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I could smell the gunpowder. Okay, so when I heard this, the first thing I can think of is a trap. There was nothing on the gun, and around it, they kind of feel like a trap. Except this, with its bizarre mechanism that creates this thing that could be a gun. Could this have been a trap? Then one activated toom, and then that. The destruction of the candelabro makes me think that the gunshot could have been from below, above, like this. Some sort of bizarre trap. Without a doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I could smell the gunpowder. Could this... Oh! This could be a gun, then shoot to create a false sense that there was a gunshot. And he was actually dead. Because I do think he was dead all along. And maybe this could have used to fake a gunshot sound to fabricate when the actual gunshot happened and he was killed. Maybe that could also work. Without doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I could smell the gunpowder. This is going from bad to worse. And you said that the point. You said that's the point. Sorry. Oh my god. And you said that is the point at which you noticed the revolver on the floor. Correct. And I foolishly picked it up. That was careless on my part. Presumably then, the gunshot you heard came from the firearm that you somewhat hastily took in your hands. In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not. What? The barrel of the revolver I picked up was cold, and there was no smell of spent powder. But then, where on earth is the gun that was fired? It's the toy! Was I like to oblige you with an answer? I'm afraid I cannot. I too would dearly like to know that. Huh. Just as I picked up the firearm to examine, the door flew open, and I heard a man scream. Hold it! A man, you say? One of the witnesses, I presume? That's right. One of the street merchants working on the Fresno Street. Who are these merchants? A number of them have set up their stalls directly beneath the boarded window of the crime scene. A match seller, a newsmonger, a peddler, they have all given statements saying they heard a gunshot. And without a thought of danger, they run inside to see what had happened. Yes, Gina told us about that yesterday, didn't she? They burst to the door with some force, it would seem. They did. I almost gave me a heart attack in the process. You're supposed to be the Reaper. The first man to come in immediately noticed the revolver in my hand and fled. A policeman patrolling on Fresno Street heard the commotion and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred. Anyway, the man's scream drew my attention in that direction. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. Okay, so 1 or 2 streams ago, I was complaining about how a lot of the times in this game, the final sentence of the press doesn't really connect it with the next sentence of the examination, which is something I really, really liked from the old games. This one is absolutely doing that. This one is absolutely doing the connection, and I'm happy. Hold it! What do you mean by that? In what way did the body appear? I honestly cannot explain, but it's the truth. As far as I was concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point. And then suddenly, there it was. Did you perhaps hear the song of the victim falling into the ground just beforehand? At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the body flying open. Sorry, of the door flying open and the scream of the man who came inside first. Nothing more. I see. After the man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find it was Gregson. Most curious circumstances indeed. How the inspector was killed or how his body seems to appear out of nowhere. I have no idea. Surely the court has heard enough? My lord, the cross-examination has clearly revealed that the accused... Oh yeah, he has the finger in the head from Edward. The accused, Baron von Zix, is lying on multiple fronts. What is that supposed to mean? Good gracious, counsel. The defendant is lying, you say? In his testimony just now, he claims he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark. That is correct. Is this... He present... Is this the opposite? Normally we have to press, find the contradiction and then present. Is this Kazuma presenting the contradiction? No, that is impossible. As proven by this candelabrum. How does that prove anything? Because if these two are short, it's because this must have been on at the time and this was shot. Okay, if you examine the tip of the long candle, you can see it has been blown off by a powerful impact. One would assume that the projectile from the firearm is passed through the victim and struck the candle. Sorry. The problem comes when you consider the other two candles, which are clearly of different length. Yes, I can see that only the candle that appears to have been struck by the bullet is long. We could reasonably expect someone to have lit all three candles together, which begs the question, why only one has ended up longer than the others? That must have been because that particular candle was extinguished when the others were still burning. Ah, that's right, when the candle was hit by a bullet, it obviously went out. But the other two candles would still have been burning, so the fact is... the victim's body would have been illuminated by the light still thrown by the candelabrum, and the accused claim that he couldn't see the body clearly contradicts those facts. And now, then to the next lie. Then there is more! The accused claims never to have visited the scene of the crime before. That is true. In that almost empty room, the police discovered something unusual. A board covered top to bottom with police documents and newspaper cuttings. Yes, we saw it too. It goes without saying that the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged. However, they included a number of reports from various historical cases, the oldest of which was from 10 years ago. 10 years ago, that is starting to sound familiar. And there is a common thread linking all of the documents on that board. Indeed, what is the common thread? They are related to cases prosecuted in court by Baron von Zix. Okay, so we all know that was a board made by Mr. Vingin to try to find more about the convict that he let escape and stuff like that. Okay. They're related to cases prosecuted by the Baron von Zix. All of them. Furthermore, all those cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted. Good lord! Interestingly, none of the defendants are alive today, because all of them have been saved by the graves by the Reaper. How much of this room was just fabricated by Strongheart to create this murder? But for him to do that, he will need to manipulate Von Zix to be there at that time. And he only went there because he broke into Gregson's office. Would Strongheart really be like, oh, I knew then Lord Von Zix wanted to catch Gregson, so I knew he was going to enter his private room and check his note, so I entered in his room beforehand, opened his note, wrote out the address where I put this fucking trap mechanism bullshit, and then just wait for magic to happen. Perfect. Oh no. In short, that dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout and his base of operations. The Reaper's hideout. And yet, the Reaper would claim never to have been to his own secret hideout. No one would believe that, no. The truth is we have been looking at this backwards. Backwards? Explain, Council. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered... There is no fucking way it's just going to be a random guy number 3. It has to be Strongheart. It has to be Strongheart. As I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper hand. Okay, so they are going with... Sorry. So the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed by the Reaper's hand. Okay. What? Order. Refill my water. Very well. I hereby state the correct opinion of the court. Barak von Zix is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered great service to his country. However, it is with deep regret that I must concur with Prosecutor Asogi's contention that the defendant's testimony exhibits a number of stark inconsistencies with the known facts. How I have done is state the truth, as I know it. Kazman's done a brilliant job as ever. He's drawing on his experience as a defense attorney to build his prosecution case, and it's formidable. Counsel, you will submit the board that you just showed to the court as evidence. I believe it to be fundamental in establish the facts surrounding the Reaper's existence. Thank you, my lord. Let me check that. We cannot... Oh, that is the thing. Bloodhand. What is that? Okay. Also, there is a woodcut here. But there is also a woodcut here. So is this woodcut part of the clue or just art style? Now hold a look. Oh yes, it's a smug of some kind. In fact, it looks just like a handprint. The color, it's blood. That's blood, isn't it? Oh dear, how disturbing. So, how would you... I like the effect of the pins. How would you do this? It's on the ground, and then the person just stumble upon and just put his hand while it's on the ground, and then use it to like lift himself up. Nothing here, nothing here. Okay, let's check the cases. There are details of a whole raft of cases dating back to years on here, aren't there? The paper from 10 years ago is browning with age. Look. Out of interest, the most recent things appear to be newspaper cuttings here. Oh, it's the same red-headed league advertisement that Mr. Sholmes have picked out. You remember, there was a red hair piece at the signature. Was Inspector Gregson an exponent of the red-headed league then? Dun, dun, dun. Okay. And now the prosecution would like to call the new witness to stand. Witnesses who saw the events unfold on the day in question. They were mentioned in the previous testimony too, if you remember. Yes, the street sellers. Very well, lead the witness in. The defendant may step down from the witness stand. Certainly, my lord. Okay. Oh, you lost your job. So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Oh, it was your lips. I wasn't sure. Names, we don't use names. Far too fancy for the like of us. Are the three of you the redheads? No. We're just free as easy, sell what we like, and live where we wanna live. Okay, so you are connected, but you're not the group. I give them now a vacant stare as they walk down Fresno, and spill a few words into verso for them. Would I be right to assuming that all three of you make your living by selling wares on the street? Heh, Everyone call me Gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits to passengers by, you know. Jaunty little tidbits. Got an absolute smasher for you, sir. Right up your genio, it is. 60 pence is the price and not a penny less. Wait, you're actually trying to sell it to me now? Sure, let's buy it. Oh, come on, don't tell me you're not interested. I am. Try the man. Give him the money and see what it is. Pay it up, counsel. Alright, 6 pence it is. You won't regret it, sir. Now, got your listening ears on? Just between us, a young couple on Slide Street just have twins. Oh, it is gossip. Is that it? Nope, that's not it. It's gossip, isn't it? It wants to spread, but the bit's up to you and your mouth, of course. I got more, you know, with another juice one, 6 pence a piece. If it is, if you're curious. I'm curious, yes, about what's going on here, just under that. About what's going on just under that fat bottom lip of yours. Namely that unusual bruise or whatever is poking from under your collar. Oh, so it wasn't just part of the bizarre character design. Okay, it was something. What about the next witness? What name do you go by and what do you sell? Me? I'm Venus. That's what everyone calls me. Funny, innit? I sell lovely little fireworks to all the local kids. Okay. 6 pence a pop. What do you say? Are they actually gonna explode? No. Oh. You weren't exaggerating with little. Do they actually sell? Oh yeah, the second years can't get enough of my Venus firecrackers. Especially when I tell them if they get 100, they could blow up the school. Not the most savory of ideas, young lady. What did you say then? Wanna try with 6 pence for a pop? Wait, you want me to buy one? Tell you what, I'll let you on a little secret. If you get 100, you could up the whole courtroom. Try the woman. Give her the money and see if she's right. Pay the woman, counsel. Alright, I'll buy one. Lovely. Right then, this is something a bit extra just for you. The Venus special, only 600 pence. 600! It's 100 of my regular fireworks. Nothing little about that, is there? And there'll be nothing little about the punishment if I blew up the Old Bailey either. Oh, it is! And the last witness. What name do you go by and what do you sell? So, is this going to be... This could also work as the thing that produces the gunshot sound. But she would notice the difference, right? She's a seller of fireworks. She knows the difference between the sound of a firework and a gun. I have an idea, Mr. Naruhodo. You are staring at the end of the string of fireworks. Sorry, it's just that it's the Venus special. I was wondering what 600 pence worth of fireworks would sound like. How we find out? But she said we blew up the courtroom. Bang! Alright, that was a fairly sizable bang. My ears are still ringing, Mr. Naruhodo. Sounds almost exactly like a gunshot. Okay. I like the toy secret gun idea better. As for the last witness, what name do you go by and what do you sell? I'm a thinker, me. Thinks all sort of thoughts. I think, therefore I am. Therefore I think. I think. Because I stand there on the street watching the word goes by about me, they call me the Observator. Get out of it, old man. Everyone calls you Sandwich and you know it. So, don't actually sell anything? A problem shared is a problem halved. As they say, I give advice, I do. And think what it means. I don't actually sell anything, no, come to think of it. Pity. No more purchase today, please. Well, we have quite a guest here, it seems. They conduct their business on Fairness Street from morning till night, my lord. And always at the same place, directly adjacent to the crime scene. See, and thus they have heard a gunshot, I suppose. Not only that, but they very bravely run inside to film what was going on and witness the crime. Well, I'll be beggar I thought, just between us. Venus de Milo, what am I to do? What a terrible thing I saw. What I think is, if all what we see is light and shadow, playing with our eyes, is any of it real? If you close your eyes. Very well, the court will now hear the formal testimony of these three witnesses now. You will describe in detail what you witnessed and heard at the time of the incident. We saw the whole thing from start to finish. We did everything from the moment they went into the building. It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside, then we heard a big bang. Seems to me that quick to talk and quick to walk Gossip couldn't... Seems to me that quick to talk and quick to walk, Gossip couldn't wait to go and see what had happened. I ran into the room and there he was, the Reaper, gun in hand, staring over the dead body. I was scared half to death, so ran off to find a copper. I don't think anything they said was wrong. If these witnesses were there the whole day and saw everything, who did they see go inside the building? Only the victim, Inspector Gregson, and the accused, Barak Van Zix. I have seen pictures of that Reaper in the papers. I know what he looked like. And just between us, folks love stories like this. I made myself a tidy sum already. Wait, the room was just one of several flats in the building. Someone from another flat could have done it. All those flats on Furnace Street are unoccupied. Of course they are. They're small, dumb, dirty, and expensive. The room in which... The room in which the Spectre was found is the only property in the building that is currently listed. And we know the leisure name, don't we? It's Huge Bone. The testimony to the court has just heard appears to leave little room to doubt. It's become increasingly difficult to see how anyone other than the defendant could have committed the crime. Thank you for your card, my lord. As for the defense, you may proceed with your you may proceed to cross-examine the witness. Yes, my lord. In a closed court like this without a jury, the judge is the only person whose opinion matters. I have to break down this testimony somehow. Is it gonna be the fireworks on the we heard a bang? But it's not really a contradiction.
Hold it!
When you say they, who do you mean exactly? Inspector Gregson the defendant, Lord Van Zix? I suppose the likes of us don't know the names of the high and mighty. But I tell you one thing, it was the old Reaper that went last, that's for sure and certain. Just behind Inspector Gregson, did they arrive at the same time as each other? No, not at all. The first fella must have gone inside a good 15 minutes before we heard that gunshot. The victim arrived 15 minutes before, are you sure about that? Am I sure? It seems like that I forget a fellow with a bright red hair like that, does it? Yeah, his hair really was red, wasn't it? Redder than my flaming fireworks even. That fire red mop still burn on the inside of my eyelids, it is. Wait a minute, you're saying the man was red-haired? Weren't you listening to me? Ah, he was a redhead. He was a big trunk with, and he have the big trunk with him. The only big trunk we have seen yet in this game has been the one that Seijiro brought, and it was not inspected by the police. It couldn't have been Seishiro Jigoku, could it? No. No, that's no. Inspector Gregson's hair isn't red, and not by any stretch of the imagination. It seems likely that the person you saw wasn't in fact Inspector Gregson at all, but some other third party. No, I hate to break to you, but the witnesses are correct. What? Just have a look at this photograph of the victim taken at the scene. Yeah, that is Inspector Gregson. And a red hairpiece. Oh, of course. We saw one on the floor when we were investigating the scene, didn't we? I still refuse to believe Inspector Gregson wore a hairpiece, though. So then why on earth would he have been wearing something like this? The color does seem to suit the man, one might say. The photograph will be submitted as evidence. Man, I just feel bad for you. What became of the trunk that the red-haired victim was supposedly carrying? I was informed that no truck was found at the scene. So it just disappeared. Ah, what? Do you expect us to have been watching the building every second, do you? We definitely saw him in the dock going in, though. No question about that.
Hold it!
Which presumably... sorry. A minute after the Reaper, the gunshot. By which presumably you mean the gunshot. I say all these little things, don't I? How would I know what a gunshot sounds like? But I always thought it probably sounds a bit... like this, but doesn't it? And you said that you heard a noise almost as soon as you saw the defendant enter the building? That's right, it was almost straight away. Bang! It was just like that. Oh, he is the Reaper, isn't he? It's what the French call a fait accompli. When the Reaper is around, people are going to the ground. I mean, that's what he does, isn't it? I think we got the message. The Reaper couldn't allow the Inspector to leave, after he had just discovered his secret hideout. There can be no clear motive for the crimes. Yes. It's such an eminently credible motive. Great. And at that point, you run inside, is that correct?
Hold it!
So, when Gospel ran to see what was happening, did you go to? Well, me, I'm a bit hampered, you see. All the signs are that I cannot move very well. All the signs are that I cannot move very well. You were way behind, presumably, with that sandwich board around your neck and that big sign in your hands. What a great burden you bear. Pardon me for asking, Mr. Sandwich, but is it possible that you and I have met before? I'm not quite so sure. The signs are what make me who I am. I sign, therefore I am. So, weren't you employed as an omnibus driver just under a year ago? I might be mistaken, but I believe that his trembling has intensified, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, I agree. He clearly seems to be being true a lot. Turn out the King's Hermit Street and the Black Windows Arms is just there. Oh dear, you made him hide behind his sign. Life is full of surprises.
Hold it!
So, you were the first person to arrive on the scene, is that right? That I was, keeping the door open like a professional I did, and yell out, "What's going on here?" What was exclaimed he heard was a man scream, though. Was it dark inside the room? No, not dark at all. There was candle burning on the wall. Really? And there was a fella collapse on the floor. Just between us, the first thing I noticed when I got inside. Well, I see. Even though Lord was exclaimed not to have seen such light on the wall. Fake room? No. He never left the room. Next thing I noticed was someone standing right beside the body. The accused, Barak Van Zix. That's right, the pale-faced Reaper himself. And what's a little shocked? I was a little shocked, I won't deny it. I'm no lily-livered coward. I stood my ground and gave the Reaper a cold, hard stare myself.
Excuse me.
He did not. You have something to add, Mr. Sandwich? There's nothing to me. Empty is the head. I am. Just two slices with no mind. I don't know what you could have want with me. I think that maybe you just remember something. Have you heard what Mr. Gospel last statement to me? Well, I think is... Sorry, I think is we are all nothing really. We try to dress ourselves up as something else. But at the end of the day, we are all just street sellers. There's enough out of you, Sandwich. Keep our trap shut now. Unless you want us to make you into a real into a real sandwich. Then who saw the Reaper? When he saw the Reaper, he fell clean over his backside. That's it? Oh, you rotten beggar, I told you to keep that a secret. He screamed, he screamed and then scrambled off on all fours. That's all I wanted to say. Gospel, is that true? The floor was that slippery, that's why. Planted my hand in a filthy pool of blood, didn't I? What? A pool of blood? But listen, even when I was sprawled on the floor, I still kept giving the Reaper a cold, hard stare. And don't forget it. Just go back a little. Did you say you got blood on your hands? Oh, I did, yeah. How many? No. Aside from this, do we found any other bloodstain? I don't think we did. I did, yeah. Happens to the best of us at time, doesn't it? So I was scared, so I slipped it over. And we just keep it between us, can't we? Now, Mr. Gospel, you're gonna have to. I'm going to have to ask you to add that information to your formal testimony. If I must. The witness shall make the testimony. I slipped it over and got blood on my hand, so I quickly whipped it off the floor. I was scared half to death, so I ran to find Copper. No, I want to press it.
Hold it!
You wiped your hand on the floor. Well, who wants blood on his hands? Horrible stuff. And they might have thought I have done it. Huh? And you don't think that might be a problem? Does it really matter if I left a few grumbly handprints on the floor? They all get cleaned up in the end one day. Oh! Is that how they did it? They used this. Oh, they used this to make a barrier here to hide the corpse. That's how they did it. Nice. Don't make such a fuss. That's not the message from all of us. Nothing wrong, Counsel? No, my lord. I didn't remember anything in the report about a bloody handprint on the floor, that's all. Don't come at me with all that. You can't intimidate me. I know what I did. I whipped it off. On the floor, the blood. I wonder, could have been... I don't have all the answers yet, but I think we may have just uncovered a vital clue. Yeah, let's just present it. No.
Objection!
So, you wipe out the blood from your hand on the floor of the room. Are you quite sure about that? Well, what else did you expect me to have done? Does it really matter?
Objection!
The police found no such handprints on the floor during their investigation.
Objection!
What is actually the defense? If you listen, you'll find out, Prosecutor Asogi. It's called respect me and shut the fuck up, my boy. We can do that later. For now, it's work on respect. Certainly there was no bloody handprints found on the floor. What are you trying to say? There was a handprint in blood left very clear at the scene. On the back of this notice board. Oh! Oh yes, indeed. Indisputable handprint in the distinctive color of blood. If we go... It was above in this... Like this? I'm really betting with this thing. Like this. And then the body was like here. And he fell here. And then... Von Zix was like here. Yes, indeed. Indisputable handprint in the distinctiveness color of blood. Is this shit removable? No, this is not removable. So it has to be the entire thing with the two legs. Ah, yeah, you're dead right. That's my right hand. I know it. I know it anywhere.
Objection!
The witness verified testified that he whipped his hand on the floor. Any handprint on the back of the board are irrelevant.
Objection!
Not if the board itself have fallen over onto the floor. In that case, it's quite possible for the witness handprint to have ended up there. Look at the floor plan on the room. Notice the board was the opposite corner of the room to the victim, and in an upright position. Even if it has somehow toppled and was lying in the floor at the time, it would have been considerable distance from the body. I fell over when I came across the body, so I was basically right next to the corpse, not on the other side of the room. In other words, the defendant's assertion is contradictory. Yes, it is. There is a very defined contradiction here, for which there must be a reason. I think I have formulated a proper hypothesis, Counsel. Regarding this, apparent description between the witness account and the handprint found at the scene. Sorry, regarding... I have, my lord. The board moving. The real contradiction here is the handprint itself, not where it was found. As the courtroom can see, it's upside down. Good gracious, so it is. If the witness have put his hand against the board, the fingers should be pointing upwards. What does that tell us? I tell one simple fact: when this handprint was made, the board must be lying on the floor, as the previous suggested. Which means that after the incident, it must have been moved. What?
Objection!
You're claiming that someone moved the notice board after the shooting. Tell the court who. I don't know yet, but the point is... When you consider all the testimonies we heard so far, we can now be very clear on one point. And that would be the position of the notice board at the time of the incident, my lord. So, I must ask you to clarify your assertion for the court. Notice was here.
Take that!
This is the only possible position, immediately adjacent to the doorway. If the court would think back to the testimony given by the defendant earlier, he said that when he entered the room, it was dark and he couldn't see the body. The notice board have been here. Oh, I was not thinking here, I was thinking like here. Can you see my mouse yet? I was thinking like this. Having here, the body would have been completely hidden from view. And the light from the candles would have been blocked, making the room apparently darker. But for it to fall down, like boom, so you can put the print, the side with the notes would be in front. Would he not notice the papers? Yeah, because he need to fall down like this. Because he falls down. Because looking at how the legs are, he can only fall down. He cannot fall down like this. It has to fall down like this. And this is not moving, so this is going forward. This is mother of all nitpicks.
Objection!
But the accused claimed that the victim's body simply appeared before him. That is true. Or in his precise words, this is a picture of... okay. I'm not gonna check the flashback. I don't know what about calling it a scream, but he was talking about me and no mistake. But it was me that kicked the door open. If you look at the floor plan, consider what would happen if the door of the room was thrown open with force. Yeah, but then... Giving back that image, that cannot. The door stuck to the notice board, knocking it over and making the victim's body visible. Good gracious. My client has told nothing but the truth. He simply described what he saw. That position is weird. Order. Counsel, because like if we follow what he has shown and it fell like this, the blood print would be here, but he would clean his hand here, not here. Order, Counsel, how has this not come to light before? After the incident, someone must have righted the board and moved it into the position where the police, myself, and my colleagues saw it when investigating the room. Witness, what have you said for yourself? About me, my lord? I am wondering when that movement could have happened, because Van Dix is here in the room. The moment Van Dix is removed from the room is when the police come and arrest him. At that point, I assume the police is not alone and someone stays to guard the room or something. Until the investigation comes around. There wouldn't have been enough time for that. You and your fellows were there at the scene before anyone else. It goes without saying, you must have known something about the position of the notice board. The witness in the stand will testify again. You will explain exactly what you did upon arriving at the scene of the crime. Looking over your glasses at me, you get the message. Stop looking. I don't know anything about that notice board. I just swiped my hand on it, that's all. Sorry. Just water here. Don't look at me, I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time. I don't know anything about anything, I'm just a bystander here, just a sign at the crossroad of life. He was a Reaper, I bet. He got the face that screams bored. I can't see how this changed anything anyway. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot. Yeah, I saw nothing. None of you can elaborate further. Shaken by the crime they witnessed with only the light of a few candles and an oil lamp by which to see. We cannot expect this witness to be able to give a more precise account of what happened. That's right, I don't pay to expect much. I don't pay to expect too much. It's my endless quest for knowledge that destroying the world, that's what I think. Do you really? In any case, as this testimony shows, even if the notice board was moved by somebody following the incident, it makes no difference. When the gunshot rang out, the accused was the only person at the scene. In short, the only person who could possibly have committed this crime is Baron Van Zix. None of this wrangling over the board changed that simple fact. Quite so, quite so. Does the defense still wish to cross-examine the witness despite the circumstances? Most certainly, my lord. Very well, then you may proceed, counsel. Okay, let's start pressing. So you admit there was it was the part you wiped their bloody hand on? Admit it. What is there to admit? If there is a pull, it's there plain as day for all to see. A smashing print of my right hand. Perhaps you wanted to hide that handprint. So you write the notice board. So you write the notice board and push it to the corner. No. Imagine the weight of that great lump. Do I look like a powerful and well-nurtured man? Well, did you see anyone else moving the board? I got the nerves of steel, I can tell you, but even I have my limits. There was a body on the floor in front of me, and the Grim Reaper himself standing over it. And there was precious little light inside either. My bottom lip was all a quiver. In other words, this witness is unable to give a defined testimony on that point. Yes, so it would seem. Well, don't look at me.
Hold it!
Let me look at you. When you say you were doing business with them, you meant you were selling them firework. Yeah, what else? There is the Priory School just around the corner, you see. Those cheeky little so-and-sos have got a plan to blow their school to Kingdom Come. So I've been telling on them, letting their teachers know what they're up to. Oh, you have? Yeah, wouldn't want anyone to get hurt, so I let the school know the kids are playing with dodgy toys. Then, praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks off them. And then, praise the Lord again, the kids come back and to buy more. Everyone is happy. What a racket. Of course, and sometimes the teacher gives me a little bonus to thank me for letting them know. There was a moment when I noticed that this was not lit anymore. It's a busy old life selling explosives. Venus is a beautiful goddess indeed. Well, telling bare-faced lies is kind of my thing, really. I'm ever so good at it.
Excuse me.
Hey! Nothing wrong, Mr. Sandwich. If I have to say, could we just leave it at that? Would that be the end of it? No. Did the Miss Bennett's statement just bring something to mind, perhaps? Philosophical thoughts, deep philosophical thoughts. Let's say there was a great liar. Sorry, just give me a second. Sorry about that. And let me take this moment to grab some water since I just paused. Let's say there was a great liar. And that great liar said without batting an eye, telling bare-faced lies is kinda my thing. I'm ever so good at it. Would those words of hers be lie too? Or the truth, in which case, she's not a liar. Oh, it's a hellish paradox, that one, don't you think? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But it seems you're suggesting Miss Venus has been lying, are you? What are you on about, old man, trying to cause trouble, are you? I'm going to explode your fucking ass. And I'll wrap your whole body in firecrackers and set them off and give you something to tremble about. You have certainly disturbed the mind behind that sweet, innocent face, young lady. So, Miss Venus has lied in her testimony. Is what you're saying, Mr. Sandwich? Well, if it means I'll be burning in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it. Yes, that is what I'm saying. Can you elaborate, please? Old Blabbermort here headed for the room where the gunshot seemed to come from. But there was someone else who crept up the stairs behind him. That's right. That rotten liar over there. Hehe. You mean to say that you did in fact betake yourself to the scene of the crime after all? What did I tell you? I said I was gonna tell him barefaced lies, didn't I? Yeah, as you mentioned. Well, the revelation rocked the whole courtroom, didn't it? Who knew firecrackers packaged such a punch? So, you indeed visited the scene of the crime, did you, young lady? Good grief. Well, now you come to mention it, I suppose perhaps I do clearly remember climbing the stairs to the room, yes. Either way, you clearly remember it or don't. Either you clearly remember it or don't. Well, I shall consider feeling punishment for this perjurious act later. For the time being, you will immediately amend your testimony to reflect the truth. Yes, my lord? Maybe I did sneak along behind Gospy and have a little peek in the room where it all happened.
Hold it!
You make a habit of lying, don't you, Miss Venus? Well, I suppose I don't really know, to be fair. If you want my advice though, I'll take everything I say with a big pinch of salt. Alright, but I did in fact go to the room where the victim was killed on the day in question. Oh please, as if I would. I can't think of anything more terrifying. The truth, please? Well, alright, just a bit. I mean, a girl my age is curious about stuff, you know. Did you touch anything at the scene? Oh, please, as if I would. I mean, there was a dead body on the floor. The truth, please? Well, alright, just a bit. I have to take a look to see if there was anything I could sell. So I did give the place a once over, but it was nothing to write home about. Right, I hesitate to ask, but you didn't move the notice board by chance, did you? Oh, please, as if I would touch anything like that. Just a few bit loose of change is all I have. The truth, please. Alright, I thought there might be something worth having underneath it, so I blasted the thing. Sorry, flipped the blasted thing. You're telling us that you did move that board? I think that did slip out, didn't it? What? You done burn pot? Okay, that's a new word. I don't believe it. This girl doesn't think. So, did you find anything then? Something that you might have taken, perhaps, to sell? Oh, please, I should be so lucky. The truth now! I might have found this old pocket watch under the notice board, I suppose. Bit of a junk. So it was you. You were the one who took it. Gina? Young lady, may I remind you where you are? The watch there. That was the present to Inspector Gregson from the yard for a big case he solved 10 years ago. The professor case, no doubt. The boss used to end up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub. You see, I swept it off him once and believe he was upset. He gave me a right weir. He said he didn't miss a day in the last 10 years polishing it and winding it. It meant the word to him, the watch did. Possibly the best thing to go diving for them. Not at all though. I took it to the jazz bed that night to ask how much it was worth, but the old dealer wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't give me a penny, say it wasn't working, knockabout and worthless he called it. I knew I should have lifted it. The watch must be submitted as evidence at once. Oh, please, just so long as you promise to give it back. Not a chance, I will swipe it from you if you try to get your grumps meats on it again. Enough, hand over the watch to Bailey forthwith. Okay. Good lord. The glass appears to be broken. Can I examine? Let me examine it. More than likely it shattered when the inspector was shot. Doesn't tick anymore either. Which is why I just about didn't want it. What a waste. Yes, indeed. It appears to have stopped at the hour of 5. Exactly when the gunshot was heard then. Which supports the prosecution claim, of course. Has anyone seen Gregson the day before? Oh, that's where the fucking key goes. Ah, there's a tiny little keyhole here, can you see? Probably for the winder which wind up the mechanism. Look a little unusual, don't you think? You just need the right key, I imagine. Might of you have seen it, something a little bit of a key. If it would be wonderful to have the key, let's check carefully over what we have already found. We have the key, let me try to use it! There's a tiny little stub sticking to a small hole. Suppose that must be a little knock or something on that sorry. I suppose there must have been a little knob or something on that for setting the time. In that case, seeing as we know the inspector took such a good care of this watch, probably broke when the incident occurred. Of course, which could mean there is a small part of the watch still at the scene, maybe. The glass over the face really is badly cracked. Look, what a shame when the inspector clearly looked after it so carefully. I imagine Mr. Homer could repair it, don't you? I should think so. He's very adept at things like this, a useful man to have around. Kinda remember that he's a great detective named Mr. Naruhodo, not an odd job man. Yeah, he's a little bit of an odd job man. Okay, if I inspect this shit now... Can I now use it? Mr. Zato, do you think perhaps... Could be... Yes, we can now use it. Yes, it could be. Let's try. Nice. And now it's working. I knew it. Perfect fit. Look, the inspector watch has started going again. Ah, so it has obviously just not been wound up, that's all. What is it, Mr. Zato? Well, if the watch isn't actually broken, I have a feeling it could have profound implications. She's deep in thought now. Perhaps I better start thinking deeply too. Five o'clock on the dot. It would appear that the mystery of the moving notice board has been solved at least. And, as predicted, have very little bearing on the case. Now then, continue with your cross-examination, please. And just beside that, just a sign of the crossroad of life. But you did go to see what have happened in the room, don't you? Didn't you? Bradley Street is my whole world. It's all I know, and I know all of it. I have to make it my business to know if I want to hold my sign up high. You did go see what have happened. It's not the destination that is important, it's how you get there. Did you notice the notice board in the room? If you think about it, we are both the same species, aren't we both different members of the sign family? So if I spot it, I might have tried to trip it up out of the sense of rivalry, I admit. Someone really needs to tell you are Homo sapiens, not Homo signers. Does that mean you didn't notice the board? I can only repeat what I have said before. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me, just a sign at the crossroad of life. In which case, just who was responsible for moving notice board?
Hold it!
What exactly do you mean by that? Oh, come on now, don't tell me you have not noticed. He looks like he hates everything in the world, that fella. Not he, but not the notice board. They're the one thing he likes. You can see in his eyes. I can't say I ever noticed. I'll tell you one thing for free, though. I never took my eyes off that man on the floor. Or off the Reaper, not for a second. Sorry. Well, I was scared, I couldn't. You never know what a field like that might do if you look away. So you didn't notice the woman beside you doing that shit? If you didn't take her eyes off the defendant, you have been able to confirm categorically whether or not he was the one who moved the notice board. Ah yeah, that I can. The Reaper did nothing of the sort, I can swear to that. Couldn't have missed it. I couldn't have missed it if he hadn't the thing upright again and dragged it across the room. Right, glad we cleared that up. What happened to the face that screaming board? I feel your pain, Kazuma. How did you not notice the girl moving everything? It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon that you all heard that loud bang, wasn't it? Ah yeah, the notice board fell over. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it fell over. Maybe I didn't. But the Reaper fate is sealed either way, because of the gunshot we all heard. So your fates are sealed too. My fate. That's right. The defense is fated to lose. And the prosecution to win. In other words, all hands on that single gunshot. If I could just find some problem with that part of their story, maybe it's possible to change our fate. Of course, none of that changed the fact that I heard what I heard. Not much to go on, as you have pointed out, Mr. Naruhodo. There is no question that a notice board was moved. There's multiple significance, I know what you mean. Okay. We have to use the pocket watch, because if we don't use the pocket watch, there is a possibility that the player could finish the scene without grabbing the pocket watch, so you have to use the pocket watch. The question is where? Crossroad the fly. Probably this one. I think this is a weak one, but let's try. Because that's the only one that kind of talks about like the time of the gunshot, and they don't talk here, they talk on the press, which is a bit weird for me. I'm afraid that's not necessarily the case. Oh, at the scene, we found this key to the winder of the inspector's pocket watch. A key. And having won the watch, we discovered that it in fact still works. You see, the watch didn't stop because it was broken at all. And that fact completely undermines one of the most fundamental premises on which this entire case has been built. What? Does it? Order, but counsel. The watch was stopped at exactly 5 o'clock. Yeah, which is just when we heard that gunshot. It is exactly the hour. The time that was shown on the watch tells us nothing other than when it wound down. It's merely a coincidence that it happened to be at 5 o'clock.
Objection!
Even if that's true, the three witnesses here all heard a gunshot at 5 o'clock. So that's obviously when the crime was committed.
Objection!
No, that doesn't hold. Why not? Recall what Inspector Lestrade said only moments ago. The boss used to wind up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come in the pub. He said he haven't missed a day in 10 years polishing and winding it. It's meant the word for him, that watch did. The victim was in the habit of winding his watch once a day in the evening. You can reasonably assume that he would the timepiece on the evening before he died as well. He wound up the timepiece. Okay. I know this as wind up. No. Yeah. No, it's not wind up. I don't. I never actually encountered that word in daily life because I don't have pocket watches. Yes, that would be entirely reasonable. But if that's the case, you wouldn't expect the watch to have completely wound down by 5 o'clock the following day. How would you explain it then? In summary, the evening before the day of the incident, when the gunshot rang out in that room, the inspector was already unable to wind his watch. You can't mean what would stop a man winding his watch if he's been in the habit of winding it every evening for 10 years? The obvious answer is that he was already dead. Order, counsel, this is a most extraordinary claim.
Objection!
Extraordinary isn't the word, it's absurd. You claim he was already dead the night before? I thought you were my friend, Naruhodo. What the fuck have they been teaching you? Look at your argument. What the fuck they have been doing in this country? Do you think the Scotland Yard coroner would have overlooked something like that? Well, on that subject, there is something rather surprising. There is actually an omission in the coroner report. The type of death is not noted. That's right. Wait a minute, you're forgetting that my legs went from under me when I kicked the door in. What do you mean? Like I say, I planted my hand in that dirty great puddle of blood. Yes, but the victim blood haven't dried, it was fresh. He catch on fast, doesn't he?
Objection!
The blood could be explained in any numbers of ways. It could have been put there afterwards. Some fresh blood could have poured over. Does my learned friend think that fresh blood is available on every street corner? Are you calling me learned friend? I thought you just called me friend. Well, it did not necessarily have been human blood, of course. We've been told previously that Scotland Yard has no way to identify blood as human. The problem is currently being researched. At present, you are correct. It is beyond our abilities. So, a chicken blood could have been used, for example. It's certainly a possibility that it wasn't the Spectre blood at all.
Objection!
But the gunshot was heard at 5 o'clock that afternoon. That is beyond question. It is, though. What? Given that at the time of the death, the victim has already been called into question. It isn't beyond the realm of possibility that what this witness heard wasn't a gunshot at all. Oh, please. What are you trying to say? Does Lot know what we heard, and it was a loud bang that came from that there room. Now you listen to me, a street seller ears are his livelihood. I don't doubt your ears, sir, but all I can state with certainty is that you heard a noise. Explain yourselves, counsel. Bum, bum, bum.
Take that!
Something like this, the culprit could have set off one of these to fake a gunshot. But gracious, the very fireworks that are sold by the witness. Hold on a minute, are you saying I did it? My pretty little fireworks only make a little pop anyway, see? Not 100 of them together, the Venus special that you sell for 600 pennies sound like this. As the court can now attest, it sounds very much like a gunshot, in fact. You're trying to suggest that someone set one of these fireworks off at the scene? I'm suggesting that somebody knew the defendant was in that room at 5 that day, and sought to implicate him by creating a sound like a gunshot for these peddlers on Fresno Street to hear.
Objection!
But even the accused himself has testified that he saw no one else in that room at the time. Whenever there was a gun or a firework, the only person present to cause that bang was Baron Van Zix. One whiff of a match and my fireworks will pop, see? That's why people like them. I fear for your fingers, young lady. Recently, during my time here in Britain, I have learned of a very usual invention indeed. Something called a time bomb. Oh heavens, a bomb! Yes, a device that allows you to blow up whatever you like, whenever you like. Although I worry that you unfortunately phrasing there may lead to yet another international incident. Ah, no, wait, it's the whenever you like part that is important. A timed device. Yes, exactly, a timed device. Something of that nature could have been planted at the scene. A device that was able to produce the sound of a gunshot long after the culprit have left. Your extravagant claim will have to be substantiated with evidence, counsel. Well, I don't have...
Take that!
You're suggesting this could have been used as some sort of time delay device? I do think so, my lord, but it's becoming increasingly clear that we have all been very misguided
Objection.
here. Yes, by you. What? No, Constance, the time has come for a penalty. Oh, okay, so not the clock. The candelabro, and this is actually firework? Because what else?
Take that!
As the court has already discussed, the tip of one of the candles in this candelabro has been blown off. Indeed, because it was struck by the bullet, which presumably passed through the victim. I don't think that's possible, my lord. Not possible, why? Because of the scorching. There are gunpowder scorch marks clearly visible on the broken candle. There are? Goodness, yes. But is it not that the case that there was also scorch marks on the victim around the bullet entry wound? That's right, there was, as we heard earlier. Scorch marks that only appear when the target is at very close range, a matter of centimeters from the gun. Which means that the scorch marks on the candle could possibly have a result of a gunshot. You're suggesting it came from the firework. How can that be? The fact that there is such a visible scorching on the candle suggests that the fireworks must have been right next to it when they exploded. Sorry. Or put in another way, the candle and the fireworks were joined together. Oh, yeah, that could work. Yeah. I was gonna be like, how exactly would you, like, organize, but yeah. The culprit somehow attached the fireworks at a point partway down the candle. After the killer had left the scene, the candle slowly burned down along the other two. And until eventually it ignited the fuse of the firework, generating a loud bang. And that is how these three witnesses came to believe they heard a gunshot at 5 o'clock. Well, what a plot! And this implies that the victim could have died earlier than we have been led to believe, the previous day even. No, just hold on your horses. I was here, saw the victim go into the building, remember? Ah, I couldn't forget the flame-colored hair, even if I wanted to. The person you saw entering the building wasn't the victim. Consider this. Obviously, anyone can wear a wig. So the person that this witness saw entering the building 15 minutes before the incident occurred could have easily have been someone else entirely wearing a red hairpiece. Someone else, do you mean to say it was the same person who contrived the firecracker trick? In other words, Inspector Gregson's killer. Oh, very impressive, Ryonosuke Naruhodo. My boy, my love. Kazuma? I'm quite amazed that you come this far. But after all, wasn't I the one who told you that you have all the makings of a great defense lawyer? I also noticed the lack of time of death in this report, a stark omission. But as far as I'm concerned, this whole country justice system leaves a lot to be desired. Order. Prosecutor Asogi, no xenophobia in my courtroom against British people, only Japanese. What on earth do you mean? I heard that many of the leading members of British judiciary are present to observe this trial today. So we cannot allow even the slightest doubt to be overlooked. The defense assertion about the time of death based on the victim's stopwatch is just conjecture. But while the possibility exists that my learned friend may be correct, we have a duty to explore. While certainly I would agree with you, and what immediately comes to mind is, of course, what was Inspector Gregson doing and where did he go on the day before the incident? Do you know? The inspector always carried out his investigating work alone. His movements were treated as confidential within the Scotland Yard. even within the yard. However, considering the evidence we have presented with so far, I say it's fairly apparent what case the man was pursuing, wouldn't you, my learned friend? I do have a feeling about what case he might have been investigating. Yeah, surely. My lord, the defense believes it can explain to the court the case that was being investigated by Inspector Gregson at the time of his death. Well, counsel, present your argument. I mean, we can go with this. I'm gonna go with the red piece.
Take that!
The red gang. I believe the red hair piece points to the answer. Because I was like, okay, do we want this? Because this is where there is the notice of the red gang. But there is no notice of it in this text, so the hairpiece. I believe this hairpieces point to the answer. We might assume he was investigating, he was part of a disguise to carry out an undercover investigation. Surely not, such a bright colored hairpiece would only serve to make the inspector more noticeable. Yes, that is quite true. It would definitely have been made him stand out in a crowd. Except that is, in a crowd of gentlemen from the Red-Headed League. The Red-Headed League! So, you already worked it out. What on earth is this all about? Is there such an extraordinary league of gentlemen? The Red-Headed League is currently under investigation for a grand deception. Deception of what nature, Counsel? They have been targeting red-headed men across all London and tricking them out of small sums of money. 2 men were arrested for the misdemeanor only yesterday, in fact. My lord, the defense called for those 2 men to be summoned at once. 2 redheads? See, this is the difference between how it feels with Lord Von Zieks and Kazuma. It genuinely feels like everything that happened in this case, Kazuma have already worked that out. But with Von Zieks, it genuinely feels like he didn't, and he's discovering things alongside with us, which for me removes a lot of the intimidation. Now it feels like we're still dancing on top of Kazuma's hand, which it's not time for doing that yet. Inspector Gregson clearly infiltrated the Red-Headed League using this hairpiece, so it's very likely that he have direct contact with those criminals. And it's quite possible that such contact leads to more serious events. I concur that we cannot in good conscience leave this new avenue and explore it. Well done, Mr. Naruhodo. Well, it's another possible line of inquiry for us at least. The prosecution will make immediately arrangements for the charged men to appear. Bring those 2 red-headed league conspirators before me, Prosecutor Asugi. At once, my lord. Very good. We will have a 30-minute recess. Court is adjourned. To be continued. We are not stopping here today. No, let's keep going. But I do think this is a good point to take a 2-minute break for bathroom and stretching legs. So, I'll be right back. Okay. We can begin. Restart. Yes, I do want to say. Old Bailey, defending the antechamber. There you are, Odo. What keeps you, my dear fella? Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Gina, sorry about that. Ooh. You sure about what you said in there? That the boss, actually died the day before? It's pretty hard to swallow. Yes. I was shocked by the revelation too, Gina. As was I. Possibly more shocked than both of you. How? You are not a member of the judiciary, but I guess you are very close related to the yard. It's not a competition, Mr. Sholmes. But I was more shocked than all of you put together. This is the autopsy report in question, is it? Yes, it's strange there is no time of death noticed. I suppose that is a simple explanation, or perhaps it was a deliberate omission. Can we call... Can we call to the fucking court the... What's her name? Maria Gorey? Please? It puts me in mind of the last case we worked on in Docker's seat. I know. Anyway, it seems that on the day before Lord Van Zix discovered his body, Dr. Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League. So perhaps something happened with them. And so was Sholmes. Sholmes, tell us what you did. Come to think of it, you have trouble with those ligaments too, didn't you, Sholmes? You were taking him by that tree. No. Naturally, I wasn't taking in, as you put it. My sleuth-hounded interest was merely piqued slightly by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. And that scent may mask the underlying scent of deception, I suppose. The true criminals in question are the pair we saw being arrested yesterday, aren't they? In Mr. Sholmes' suit, I mean? Sorry, let me just... Oh, why is this a mess? Sorry. I don't like when things around me are a mess. Let me just make sure everything is well organized so I can continue. I should create something so I can put you maybe here. Okay, anyways, game streaming. That's right, News, and it was me who took them. Thanks to that tip-off by a good law-abiding citizen. Indeed, yours truly. So it's going to be that pair in the witness stand next to it, is it? Something doesn't quite make sense to me. The day before Inspector Gregson was found, you haven't had trouble with the Red-Headed League yet, have you? What would the inspector have been investigating then? Well, the most likely explanation would be that Gregson owns Luft-hounded interest was piqued by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. Don't tarn his wheel with the same brush as you. Don't tarn his life with the same brush as you, Holmes. Yes, well, then there is the whole issue of the Inspector Gregson being investigated by Lord Van Zix. The Ripper, the Red-Headed League, Inspector Gregson, Lord Van Zix, and Kazuma. I feel as though he knew we would arrive at this point somehow. Gosh, I think you're right. It's called being competent. What he's really trying to achieve here today. The truth. Our answers will soon be revealed. Observe the time, my dear fellow. How much do you know? This recess will be over shortly. Yes, you're right. We really spent the entire recess without saying a single word to Lord Van Zix. Kazuma was determined that he should be the one to prosecute this trial, and he was determined that I should take the defense. What is it that he's hoping to make me see? I got the feeling we are a long way from the end of this trial. Okay, this is a long one, I guess. Are you ready? Sorry. Are you ready then, Miss Susato? Yes. The pose. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed court hearings of Barak Van Zix, here present, who stands accused of murder. Now, Prosecutor Asogi. My lord, have you summoned the witness as requested? Yes, the two members of the Red-Headed League who planned and carried out the deception. They arrived not long ago on the local prison by the police carriage. Very good. Bailiff, usher the two men into the courtroom. These two men are currently being held by the police on suspicion of attempted extortion. You may omit your occupations, but state your names now for the court. I am Fabian de Ruzial. De Ruzial. Can we just call you Fabian? Can I just call you Fabian? A descendant of the great Rusian family from Nice and France. And my name is Peppino de Rossi. I am the third son of the great family de Rossi, the landowners from Napoli. The two men first became acquainted at the boarding school for European nobility. Those who graduate from Danzig are the future leaders of Europe. I hate when they have accents in text. I hate. One of the only JRPG we have skipped on streaming up to this point is fucking Dragon Quest IV just because of that. Reading that game is painful. I could just play the original. I think there is a fan translation of the OG version. But do you have any idea how boring it is to be born with noble blood? Allures. I make it my mission to get the better of the world by employing the little grey cells of my brain. That is all I'm trying to do. So I am so rich that I am bored as fuck, so I commit crimes so I can do something with my life. Okay. So that's the only reason for this whole grand deception you have been carrying out? Ui, you could say that. Not bad, eh? It has the great ideas, but the petty plans. The strange combination is a charm of the hilarious brothers. Zikapon? Listen to me, Peppino. I have two things to say to you. Che, are you about to tell me one of your grand anecdotes? Eve viva. Personally, I want you to stop calling me this couple. And secondly, we are not the illustrious brothers. This is a serious business. Cebele, there it is, the capo trump card, the Furrow Brown. It is deep, capo? The Furrow Brown, and the meaning of your words. The court has been led to believe that under the banner of the Red-Headed League, you have conspired to swindle money from a suspicious member of the public. Is that true? Oui, c'est ça. C'est ça. I don't know languages. And what exactly was the nature of this deception by which you planned to defraud? Learning English was already hard enough. Allures, I will explain it. No, Capo. Leave it to me. As you see, we both have the vivid red hair, no? At school, we were treated for this without pity. The couple here, he was many times behind the schoolhouse, crying like the Trevi fountain. I like you. We, those dogs, one day the world will respect his red head. Every night he would bury his head in the pillow. Since bien, Peppino, enough. I will explain the rest. The first step was the newspaper advertisements. About 1 week before the plan was put into operation, we listed the same notice in every paper in London. Yes, we saw that notice. It was this one, I believe, entitled The Red-Headed League. Oh yeah! We have a fucking the fucking article. Could I have used that instead of the herpes? I'm honored that you have seen it. It states that the only condition for joining the league is having flame-colored hair. And that is if you satisfy the interview panel and are admitted to, into the league, you could receive a weekly income of £4. On the date specified, red-headed hopefully gather in the droves at the park specified in the advertisement. Oh my god! Let's just move on. And from each person present, this part took an application fee of 5 shillings. And with the money, with friends. It was the plan most excellent, no? No, it was the most dishonorable. But to be frank, I'm stunned anyone was foolish enough to be taken in by such an obvious trick. The park was described by one witness as choked with red-headed folks, like a coaster orange bottom. And the day on which all these men gathered to apply was the day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, these two men spoke face to face with every single person present that day. I have seen more red-headed people in one day than I will see in the rest of my life. See, and now every time I see couples' red hair, I feel sick to my stomach. Anyway, why have we been summoned here today? Sorry? The date for our trial was not until tomorrow, I was told. Naturally, neither of these men have been told any details about this trial. They have only been shown this photograph. Very good. So, Mr. De Ruziel and Mr. De Rossi, you will now give your formal testimony for the court on the subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph. Of course, we are always ready to help with the law. The man in the photograph. We have more than 1,000 red-headed people assembled in the park on Lime Street that day. But I don't recall the man in this photograph, are you a couple? No, I don't remember him. Obviously, he is dead now, but I assure you, he was not in the park. Laura, the victim is nothing to do with us. You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we got caught in the first place. You have given sworn testimony that this man in the photograph was not present. Can you be certain? I am quite certain. We did not interview this man. Nobody looking like that came to the park. This I can promise. It must be noted that you have been arrested for grand deception, however. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assurances. Oof, that attitude, we gotta nowhere, huh? He's really a sucking now. Sunken. This confidential document was obtained directly from Scotland Yard. It records an entry from the inspector's private diary dated the day before the incident. It reads, Lime Street, Red-Headed League, undercover. Ah, I have the answer. Maybe there was another similar event in the park on the day in question, That is ridiculous. There is no question that Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League. Which means it's quite possible that that's when he was killed. It's possible he never got to the park. Very well, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination now. Yes, my lord? I don't think we have a single piece of evidence that is honestly relevant to this shit. So I'm just assuming we're gonna get new stuff as we press this. I feel like we're getting stuff in every single press. Sorry, every single cross-examination requires a press. 1,000 people, that is a very big crowd. It was quite a spectacle. Redheads have come up from all over the capital. See, the couple here, he has the magnetismo animale, Nobody else could attract us so many people. If I could be born again, I would be the couple. All the people wanted was the money, Peppino. All the £4 per week. Are you suggesting that you spoke personally with all 1,000 applicants? That we did, because every one of them paid us 5 shillings. We take the names and we take their money and we take their address as well. Then I tell them we take some days to let them know by a post. E finito, maybe 2 minutes a person. We started early in the morning and we stop later at the night. So you earned 5,000 shillings in one day. Who would have thought there was 1,000 such gullible red-headeds in London to start with? One of whom was a great attack with chemical altered hair. I don't recall the man in the photograph. Can we go back and talk about the fact that they have notes on the name and address of all 1,000 then?
Hold it!
How is that not relevant? It doesn't look at all familiar. No, I don't think so. This is a wig, He was trying to trick us. I do not like people who are trying to trick the other people, says the con artist. If between them they interview 1,000 people with red hair, it would be unreasonable to expect them to remember every face. No, signor, I may be small, but my memory is very large. I never forget a thing. In my opinion, I do not think this man was in the park. But he's not gonna give the court a definitive, it seems. Hey, Capo, you didn't see a man like this, huh? No, I don't remember him. Obviously, he's dead now, but I assure you, he was not in the park.
Hold it!
According to what you have said, you spoke with 1,000 or more people that day. Oui, that is true. My eyes were burning by the end of the day. Surely then you can actually remember every single face. How are you so certain that this particular man wasn't present? Normally the red hair is very distinctive, but not when you have 1,000 red hairs crawling around. Then it's just an eyesore. But if there was some other information you could give us, maybe then we would recall. That is not the line, Peppino. Remember, we do not remember him. We are sure of the fact, huh? If there was a man with red hairpiece, but his mustache did not match the color, then I do not think I could have forgotten him. Kazuma said that this should have been showed a photograph. They have been told. Sorry, Kazuma said that this should have only been shown. These two have only been showed a photograph, and they have been told nothing else. But what if they fed in just one other detail about the victim? For example, I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the men have red hair wouldn't help you remember the situation. What if I told you that the man in the hairpiece was actually a detective? The man in the photograph, a detective. Yes. It would appear he found his notice in the paper suspicious and decided to investigate incognito. I'm thinking the name since they write the names down. Sorry, but that's changed nothing.
Excuse me.
But it does. Something to add, Mr. De Rossi. See, I'm always adding something. Parmesan, olive oil, pepper. I thought it could be the profession if we are gonna go with like corrupted cop trying to manipulate the case on the orders of Strongheart. Name could also work, but the problem is the fact that they write notes of the name of the people is somehow not important to the case. Yeah, see, I'm always adding something. Parmesan, olive oil, pepper. What I mean is, do you not agree with your friend's last remark by any chance? Huh? What did he just say about detective? Yes, that. Keep your mouth shut, Peppino. You have said enough already. But why, Capo? What is the problem? There was a man who said, I am Inspector from Scotland Yard. What? Good Lord? Ooh. Order. Explain this volte-face in your testimony, witness. It's simple. A man who was at the park said to us that he was an inspector. There was no such man. But what are you saying, Capo? Have you forgotten? I have forgotten anything. Nobody like that came to the park. Basta, Capo, basta. You beat me too many times, but not you. The memory and the meals. Like I said, when it's time to eat a pasta, no one is a faster. But you are inferior to me in every other way, so shut up. Oh, so okay, so he doesn't know something and he made a deal.
Objection.
Oh, long-range attack! Truptar, the damage is done. Indeed it is, sir. Oui, there was a man who came to the park. He said he was an inspector from Scotland Yard. However, he looked nothing like the man in the photograph. He was someone else. How can I be sure? Because, to start with, his face was completely different. See, it's true, it's true. The man who came was a younger. His face was clean-shaven, his eye was sadder, his chin was thinner. No resemblance whatsoever then. Anyway, I was not going to be fooled, and I took the obvious precaution and said to him, if you're really a detective, show us the proof. See, the couple here, he doesn't take a no-nonsense, huh? But he was well prepared. He said he have identification. Identification? You mean official police inspector identification? That is most unconvincing. Sorry, my lord? Counsel, no incognitive inspector would offer his identification for inspection. It's quite out of the question. Definitely, why would he expose his true identity? Clearly, the papers were fake. Certo, capo, you are a genius. As we have said in Italia, it takes a thief to recognize another, huh? And what happened after he announced that he was a detective? He became very annoying. He said, you are under investigation. So I took his papers from him and chased him out of the park. It was fantastical, and look, here is the identification. So you stole it from the man? He have it coming, he made us very scared. But he was... not who said he was. He was. Indeed, the person described does not appear to have behaved as a true inspector would. However, I believe it would be prudent for those in the identifications paper to be entered into evidence. But I like them. No, let's not return to the testimony, let's look at these fucking papers. Metropolitan Police warrant card. Oh, there is no photo. Boring. Yes, it definitely looks fake, doesn't it? Out of interest, one name is given. Tobias Gregson. Wait, what? Scotland Yard, this Scotland Yard insignia looks genuine to me. How? Department identification number details are all correct. Since when have you know those? Do you mean to say... I know it's incredible, but yeah, I think this is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. That's unbelievable. This is the real thing. I'm waiting for the moment we are gonna get the huge bonus name. Let us return to the witness testimony. Okay, so that's the thing we have to press it someone.
Hold it!
But, sorry, we only have your words for that. Sorry, what was the... The victim is nothing to do with us. See, but what else can we do, huh? True. We're not having much of fun these days. First we are arrested, then we are shown the horrible picture of a dead man. And now we are questioned every single thing we say. We are the victims here. Aye, capo? No, you're caught carrying out a plot to swindle hundreds of innocent people. Come on, who doesn't? You have to bring that up. It's not fair, everyone has done that. They are true. Aye, capo? You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It's your fault that we got caught in the first place. Shit, I clicked it wrong. Inspector Diary... I'm not gonna... I normally try to skip the last one, since it's just a hint and I don't want hints.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that? Cavallo, you promised not to say, capo? After we have taken all the money in that day, we should have left the country. That was the plan. I left the purchasing of the ticket for the ferry to Drunkard to my companion here. But he bought it then for the wrong day. Whoops! See, but it's not it is an easy mistake to make, huh? The first, the 31st. Oh, I have no sympathy for you. We were a whole day late for the boat because of her stupidity. only because of this that we... And it's only because of this that the great red-headed detective caught us. Capo, do you know what I think? This is the work of God. It is his holy punishment, huh? Peppino, for the last time. This is not holy punishment. This is your fault. Don't blame God for your unholy mistakes. You're making me sick with anger. Maybe I make a mistake, but when it's time to eat a pasta, no one is a faster. I have seen the evidence. Okay. How do I have to use the identification paper then? Okay, he was not at the park.
Objection!
Yeah. I wonder if I could ask you to examine this identification book very closely. Miss Lestrade? Why, Miss Lestrade? What is your intention here, Counsel? Is this fake or genuine? That's the question, which we cannot answer ourselves.
Objection!
Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective would allow his or her identification to be stolen. That is the boss. No question about it. It cannot be. Come on. As I suspected. The undercover detective who attended the Red-Headed League enrollment on the day in question was the real Inspector Gregson carrying out an incognito investigation. They are lured. Order. But if the boss have his identification stolen, he would have reported it straight away. I mean, he was always on me about it. If you lose something, report it at once, he said. Could it be then the inspector was physically unable to report it? Physically... Sorry. What are you saying? Unable to... You're not suggesting... Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had the chance to report his identification stolen. No. Order. Defense posits that the victim was killed the day before his body was discovered, at a different location. Do you two have anything to say about that? I know nothing. I don't know nothing. Pull yourself together, Peppino. Mon Dieu, you can't behave a little more. You can behave a little more like a master criminal than that, no? Now I wish I have a return to Italia. Stop crying, Peppino, please. Otherwise, Loom, stop your whining and start talking. Oh, I know nothing. I don't know nothing. But you will tell us everything, or face the worst possible outcome. You will dry your eyes and testify again. About these identification papers and the precise circumstances under which you came by them. For crying out loud. Okay. So, the truth is, we took him prisoner and kept him for the night at our secret hideout. Even though I didn't think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day, just in case. We took the main identifications from him and shut him in the room next to ours. There have been a little tussle. There might have been a little tussle, but we didn't hit him no harm. No, we didn't do him no harm, and the next morning we let him go. He spent the night in a nice room. It was nothing like the prison, really. Can you identify this man? This is outrageous. You imprisoned the man. But no, see, no. It was not like a prison. He was very comfortable and a happy. Capo? It was never part of the plan, I swear it. So you think it was my fault, yeah? Just because I got the date of the ferry wrong, but by one a little a day? I do not think it was your fault, Peppino, I know it. No, per favore, capo, it's not fair. We shall have plenty of time for squabbles back at the prison, gentlemen. I don't believe this. How could he have been a real detective? Counsel, proceed with the cross-examination. So, on the day before the incident, Gregson spent the night confined in Despair's hideout. Or the killer killed him and then was imprisoned by these two by mistake. That's true? Okay, start pressing. You realize what you're saying? You have to believe me, I never intended for this to happen. And I'm sure the detective didn't intend either. You think? But there was nothing else I could do. See, nothing else. That was the first crime for the couple. He was at the end of his wits. I have told you before, Peppino, this is not the way to describe a criminal mastermind. What about this hideout of yours? An old empty house behind the park on Lim Street. We rented the place for a 2-day. It was an inspired idea by the couple here. An impulsive idea, I would say. No, not impulsive. Inspired. Aye, couple? What am I supposed to say to that, Peppino? And it was in the house described that you confined Inspector Gregson, was it? Oui. Well, you have to remember, I was under the impression that he was a pretender, not a real inspector. That doesn't quite up, though. If you didn't think the man was a real inspector, there would have been no reason to take him prisoner, would there? No, you're right, but we couldn't be completely certain. Even though I didn't think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go, just in case.
Hold it!
Too scared? Why? Because why have he come to the park? We didn't know. There was a chance that he have seen through my plan. And if that was the case, he would go straight to the police to blow a whistle on us. Even if he was just a feigning to be an inspector, he was up to no good, huh? Without a doubt, huh? I think most people would agree that it was you two who were up to no good. Well, see, you may be right, eh, couple? The point is, we were not able to escape from England immediately. That is why there was no choice but to take the main prisoner. What I don't understand is, why the inspector felt the need to show you his identification paper? Hello? See, I ask myself the same question. I really want to identify if the prisoner really was Gregson. We were writing down the name and the address of all the people who took the 5 shillings from the day. I have forgotten what name he said, but the address, it startled me. See, address Scotland Yard, Homestead Division. Okay, so it was not Greg. There's one else? Of course. It was someone faking being Greg, so the killer. Okay. I'm doing fine, thank you. What? You probably didn't like your face, Peppino. Anyway, I was not rude, I just politely asked him why he have said it. As that was when he started to say he was an inspector. No long afterwards, he took out his identification. What was Inspector Gregson playing at not being Gregson? Tell the court what happened next. You took him to your hideout. See, we did. We took the identification for him and shut him down in the room next to ours.
Hold it!
Ah, this is good! Okay, that being this identification book here, correct? See, that is the one. What made you believe that it was a forgery? I never seen a real one, of course, but he was suspicious, this man. Allora, I was thinking it must have been falso, a capo? Oui, it is just as Peppino has said. We were convinced that it was not genuine. And so together, the hilarious brothers, we took a man captive. All we did was shove him down in a locked room. Sorry? Then we made preparations to transport all the money. In for a penny, in for a pound. Let me just put this here. We still haven't got any new... No new clue yet.
Hold it!
Pressing. What do you mean by a little tussle exactly? Oh, so you... Oh! Didn't you... Yeah, you have a mark on your neck from like from someone hurting you. No. No. Maybe. But it was nothing, just a minor incident. The falso inspector, he was a real piece of the work. Capo? What happened? It was a disaster. We gave him a nice room, and what did he do? In the middle of the night, he tried to escape through a ventilator. Can you blame him? Which has him been so, and we caught him again. Can you blame us? Wait, you didn't shot the man in your haste, did you? Who do you think we are? Of course not. I simply caught him again and took him back to the home. Okay, let's see.
Excuse me.
Oh, this is fun. Miss De Rossi, is something wrong? Me? Something Mr. De Rousseau just said seemed to make you, well, it seems to make you act even more strangely than usual. What was that all about? Cavallo, at times like this, you don't wanna have the capo after you, believe me. And I speak from experience, personal experience. That is enough, Peppino. There is no need to say more. The truth is, the night before we put the Red-Headed League plan into action, I was scared. It was not fair to the couple, but I tried to run away. It was a shame we didn't manage it. But the couple here, he came after me like a turbine, huh? And he dragged me back to the house, kicking and screaming. I still have a bruise to prove it, couple? Bruise, you said? It was! Motherfucker! It's the fucking gossip guy! You wanna see my fantastical bruise? That is enough, Peppino. No one wants to take a look at any part of you. What to do? I show you, or I don't. I show you, or I don't. You do now. Allora, if everyone wants to see, then I do. Echo, you see, it's still very visible, huh? That red ring around your neck, you got that when you were dragged back to the house? See, the couple sometimes is very... I said that's enough. That's enough. Peppino's neck is nothing to do with what we are talking about here. You have my word. Yes, what is your opinion, Council? It's absolutely extremely important. Mr. De Rose, I'm gonna have to ask you to amend your testimony with details about that mark on your neck. As a Capone, you see, everyone is interested in what I say, huh? Okay, how am I gonna connect to that guy? Because I do believe... If you don't even know... I do believe in this game you cannot present a person. Yeah. You try to escape, Capone put the collar on him and drag him back, like this.
Hold it!
Are you saying the red mark caused by... See, a big collar made from a leather. A leather collar. Is this true, Mr. De Rosio? What? We have a Saint Bernard at home when I was younger. A Saint Bernard? Is that a type of dog? It's a souvenir from that time. He was with a very strong chain. A strong chain. And you put that around your friend's neck. I'm sorry, I was so angry that he was leaving me alone. Then I put a chain on his neck and dragged him back to crime to the point where there is a big red mark on his neck. Okay. You do not have to tie the chain to the leg of the bed. Holy shit. I would not have tried to run away again. You didn't have to do that, Inspector Gregson. You didn't do that, Inspector Gregson, as well, did you? Treated the people were equal. Is Capo here motto? Starting to sound like a prison all of a sudden. The Capo is a tough, but the Capo is a rough. I shouldn't have done it. So, the following morning when you release the inspector, you have a red ring around his neck, just like me. Peppino, Stilevopla, leave it now. Now you know, huh? The Capo here. You don't wanna tangle with him, huh? But for the inspector, it's not so bad. Okay, and then we present a photo that shows that he doesn't have a mark. He doesn't really show it, but... So the day before his body was discovered, Inspector Gregson was taken prisoner while working incognito. No, it was nothing like that. It wasn't hardly a prison. It was more of a invitation to say. It was homely. Homely, you describe it. There is one glaring inconsistency that remains. What inconsistency is this, Counsel? I would ask the court to look closely at this photograph of the victim, Inspector Gregson. I guess from the side. I was looking at the front, but I guess you can also see the side. You'll see there is no red ring visible around his neck. But that makes no sense. It was me who took the collar off the man in the morning, and I saw the red bruise on his neck, just like I have. Given that the mark is still clearly visible on this witness' neck, we expect to see bruising on the victim who was put in the collar more recently than Mr. De Rossi. Indeed, that is most peculiar. But what we tell you, huh? We said this from the beginning many times. Oui, Peppino is right. The man in the photograph is someone different from the man who we held in captive that night. Let me present a photo. Come on, let me present a person. It would appear that on the day before the incident, the man who visited the park on Lime Street posing as an incognito inspector was not Inspector Gregson at all.
Objection.
Oh shit, I just have a realization. Yes! The hair! It's his hair! This is fucking Dellen Vingen! Yes! Yes! Oh! Why did it took so long for me to make the connection? That's why the hair pull called me out. Oh! If that's true, however, I'm enjoying this so much. However, how do you explain the inspector identification? This is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. It is inconceivable that someone could have stolen such an important item from the inspector. The prosecution made their assertion itself. And we also know that the inspector have made a note about the Red-Headed League in his diary for that day, which surely means we cannot divorce the two events completely. The inconsistency noted by the defense is most troubling. If it were the real Inspector Gregson whose these two red-headed gentlemen encountered, the fact that there is no bruising can be seen around his neck defies explanation. But equally, if they actually encountered an imposter, how did that person come to be in possession of the real Inspector identification? The defense have some plausible explanation? The whole thing defies explanation. It is precisely these occasions that we keep meticulous notes in the court records, Mr. Naruhodo, because those are the facts, and the facts cannot lie. The facts cannot lie, even when they point to something so incredible it's almost unbelievable. Well, my lord, the true identity of the person who turned up the park is revealed by information in the court records, I believe. But gracious. Very tantalizing, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, now you're not calling me my learned friend. So, why don't you help us and see whatever true it is that you apparently see? An imposter. Though it seems incredible, I admit the undeniable facts points to only one thing. Since no bruising can be seen on the victim's neck, the person these two red-headed man took to prison that day cannot have been Inspector Gregson. In other words, our whole argument up to now has been a waste of time. On the contrary, I haven't finished. There is no bruising on the victim's neck, so the question we immediately posed the next is, who exactly was this man in the park, found to be carrying Inspector Gregson's identification? See, that is right. We tell the same story every time. Whoever this man was, the capo dragged him from a pillar to a post with the dog collar. Monty Peppino, I was not so harsh as you say. So, who was the Alfonso inspector? Who was he? Clearly, the defense has an idea about that. I have two ideas. There is no way the game would accept me saying daily vengeance, so let's go with step number 1.
Take that!
Goodness me, isn't that one of the witnesses we saw in the stand in this very courtroom earlier today? A nameless man whose only occupation appears to be peddling hearsay to passengers by.
Objection!
What on earth would a street seller be doing with a police inspector identification paper? Witness, is this the man or not? What has happened to his lip? See, this is a man is not from the Red-Headed League, huh? He's looking for the Twisted Lip League, no? Perhaps rather than make such a rash claim next time, you should bite your lip instead. It is improbable, yes, but one undeniable fact remains. During his testimony earlier, I noted something around the man's neck, a red ring of bruising. Eh? What? The defense demands that Mr. Gossip be brought back to the stand. Order, bailiff! You do your job, immediately. Well, I never. An undeniable red ring of bruising indeed. And it's identical to that of the witness beside him. And now what's going on here? I always have this me. It's a birthmark, isn't it? Sweating. A birthmark, you say? I assume the reason you have been recalled to the stand has been explained to you. Something about the inspector again. I'm telling you, you got it all wrong as usual. You're denying all knowledge of it? Well, of course I am. Are you trying to kill me with all that nonsense? Well, at least you have more stories to peddle back on the Fresno Street, won't you? At least. Now, we're gonna need you to testify again. And you, Mr. De Rosal and Mr. De Rossi, I'm sure you cooperate, won't you? Do you have any choice? We're in a bigger trouble, couple. That's quite enough dilatory chatter. Proceed. The inspector and the identification revisited. The man who claimed to be inspector that day was definitely not the man. He's right, see, you think we would forget these grand leaps, huh? I never leave Fresno Street, alright? I have no interest in any red-headed league. I'm all alone in the world, me. I'm no king folk or nothing. I would have been involved in something like that. Just look at me. Does it look like I carry off a disguise with a face like this? I could carry off a disguise with a face like this. Yeah? It would certainly appear we have the wrong man. I have been telling you, there was no need for the pointless testimony. That's right, I'm just a simple peddler, remember, Fresno Street, how I know. I would have come by a police inspector identification book. Well, yes, that's hard to explain, but... A brief cross-examination, I think, counts. Very brief. Isn't there anyone in this courtroom who thinks I might be onto something? I stand steadfast at your side as always, Mr. Mr. Naruhodo. The man who claimed to be an inspector that day was definitely not this man.
Hold it!
So you say, but how can I be so quite so certain? There was no need to turn your hands on the desk, monsieur. Surely the reason is obvious, no? Because I have never seen lips like that. Nevertheless, there is a clear red mark around Mr. Gossip's neck. It looks very much like the left behind on the neck of your colleague by your prized collar. Mon Dieu, was there words? Is it like you're trying to wring on my neck? It does look very much like on my neck, though. No, this is a birthmark, lad. The biggest lip in London and a neck to die for. Ah, they broke the mold when they made me. For the first time in my life, I feel lucky to have been born with red hair. And I thought being Japanese made you stand out in London. So, you maintain that you've never seen this man before? Oui, c'est ça. I swear it's the flames of my hair. So Fiercy Pride has outgrown the frustration with your hair now. Is right, Z, you think we would have forgot those grand lips?
Hold it!
Well, yes, I don't imagine you forget those lips in a hurry either. That is what I am saying. For some reason, it makes me wanna eat, how did Fabian call it? An eclair? You know, I never seen the hair as black as yours before either. Likewise, I never see red hair like yours until I came to Britain. See, maybe it's a nationality trait, huh? Maybe now the people from this immense country have a grand lips. No lad, I was born right here on Fresno Street. I never left. Ah, that is the problem, see? So definitely didn't go to the park on Limo Street that day, Mr. Gossip. How many times do you want me to say it? I never left Fresno Street. I have no interest in the Red-Headed League.
Hold it!
So, you heard of the Red-Headed League? You don't get a name like the Gossip for nothing. It's my business to know what's going on off in town. I saw that tasty tidbit to a fair few red-headeds that came past me. This is between I even got sandwich to cut up for it. Oh, he does have a very red nose. Who knows? But as you can see, my own hair's now got a hint of red in it. In any case, Fresno Street is my patch. You won't catch me sliding off to some other part of town. Not, sir, not likely.
Excuse me.
Mr. Rosanin? Oui, can I help you? Did Mr. Gospel words just lead you to remember something relevant, perhaps? It was the other day, when I was looking for a place near the park. A small house or something. Maybe the headquarters of your Red-Headed League, I guess? I visited the housing agent on Lime Street, and Zara saw him. This man was paying money to the agent. What? Mr. Gospel with a housing agent? Oui. I have some kind of contract in his name, and they were clearly discussing terms. But no, you're mistaken, chum. I never left Fresno Street, like I said before. You're mistaking me for someone else, someone with the same face. No, the couple is right, I remember it too. He was paying the man with the banknotes. With notes. Like I said, that wasn't me. I was curious why this, a man with dirty clothing, have so much money. So I looked at the name on the papers. And one name was written. Mr. Gospel, no! Huge bone! Come on! No, it's his name. This a man, he lies. He tells you that he has a name. He has a no name. But in fact, his name is Huge Boone. He's better than Mr. Gospel, I think. No. Yes. One peddler of tidbits of information, like I said, on Fresno Street. And that is that. I don't much like folks talking about my personal life. Indeed. And it's not the intention of the court to invade the privacy of the witness. Very well, I shall respect your wish, sir. The aforementioned name shall be redacted from all court records on the trial. Assuming no objections, I have objection. I'm sorry, my lord, but the defense does object. Because the name just mentioned has a very deep significance to this case. Good gracious, do you similarly object, Prosecutor Asugi? As it happened, my lord, that particular name has already been mentioned during today's proceedings. Well, whenever, in what capacity? Huge Bone, the name of the leaseholder of the room. Let me put it very simply. The victim body was discovered in your rented room. I suggest, sir, that you start talking. Well, alright. I suppose that might be the case, eh? So, your real name is Hoogbone? No. Well, just between us, I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but there is no finer peddler of tidbits in town. He didn't say yes. So I happen to be able to afford a grumpy little room in a falling down back street townhouse. You do? And once every 6 months, I go and pay the rent to the agent on Lime Street. I remember now. There was 2 vulgar red-headeds in there last time. If either of us is vulgar, it's not a me. Think again, Peppino. Think again. Why didn't you bring this up before? It's like I told you already. I don't like talking about my personal life. Sorry? Sorry about that. Let me just refill my cup of water. Try to clear. Ooh. Okay. Sorry. I don't like talking about my personal life. I'm a tidbit peddler as far as everyone else is concerned. No fuss. You will update your testimony to include this most surprising revelation, Mr. Bone? I must. So the leaseholder Scotland Yard has been looking for since the body was discovered. Has been here under our noses all along. Alright, the rumor of the fellow was found is true. For what difference it makes?
Hold it!
It makes a lot of difference. So you live in that room, presumably, do you? No, I don't live there. What do you think? There is no bed. Is there just a desk? Then why would you want to rate it? Well, I don't think I should have to say, really. And how about the notice board here? It was covered from top to bottom in confidential documents only the police should have access to. No, that board's not mine. The inspector must have brought it along. It's only the other bits and bobs that belong to me, the desk and the chair and that. People don't generally carry enormous notice boards around with them. The real question, why was Inspector Gregson killed there, in your room? Well, obviously I have not the faintest idea. I mean, it's causing me no end of bother, to be honest. It says that Mr. Bone would rather as little as know about his room as possible for some reason. This come across that way, and more importantly, knowing that the scene of the crime is actually his room completely changes this. In particular, there is one part of his testimony that really bothering me now. That is how I'm finally gonna undo this, man. Okay. Okay, let me just...
Objection!
Yeah. If you have no king foe, as you should put it, then explain why among this sparse furniture we found this photograph in the room. I presume you have been rating the room that this photograph belongs. I presume, as you have been rating the room, that this photograph belongs to you, does it not? Oh, well... Mr. Bowman, drop the pretense and tell the court exactly who you really are. I don't know what you mean, I'm a peddler, I keep telling you. You really don't need to bother with me, please, just leave it alone. As the man says, leave it alone. Whatever the truth is about this man's life, has no bearing on this case. because it's simply not possible that he impersonated Inspector
Objection!
Gregson. How can I be sure? Just look at the man. No amount of disguise could ever hide those unmissable features.
Objection!
What if we were to look at this the other way around? What do you mean? Yes, Counsel, what do you mean? Well, there is no denying that Mr. Bone's lips are very prominent indeed. But consider the possibility that his prominent lips is itself part of an elaborate disguise. Then hiding the prominent feature, in other words, revealing his true face, would make an utterly impenetrable disguise. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Huge Bone? Come on, let me show the fucking guy. Good witness, are you still hiding the truth from this court? If that's a disguise, then underneath his true identity must be yes. There is really only one person he could really be. A person who went missing 1 to 2 days ago. The defense believes it can reveal Mr. Bone's true identity. Please no. Well then, Counsel. Who the fuck is this guy?
Take that!
The real name is actually Mr. Vingen, isn't it? Daily Vingen. I don't recall that name, Counsel. Who is this Mr. Vingen? It's a name I encountered yesterday, my lord. Has to do with a certain client of Mr. Sherlock Holmes. A young gentlewoman came to the detective asking him to locate her missing husband. The woman in this photograph, in fact, is Miss Vingen. What? From what I understand, you haven't returned home since the night before the inspector was found dead? But of course, on that night, you were being held captive by the 2 red-headed leaguemen. And last night, you were put up by the prosecution service in preparation for testifying in this trial. Because we have been led to believe that you, Miss Venus, and Mr. Sandwich were all homeless. Being important witness in this case, we need to know where we could find you, of course. That explains why you are not only being unable to return home, but also unable to contact your wife, who is being beside herself with worry, waiting for you at the Vingen residence. No, just hold a moment. I don't have... What am I talking about? Really? It's a simple enough matter to confirm my suspicions. All we have to do is pull off that disguise. No, please. Bailiff, bring soup, sponge, washbowl, and a washbowl at once. Mr. Rosier and Mr. De Rose, you restrain the witness. Oui, my lord, si, my lord. That you are enjoying it so much. No, stop it. Get off, please. Don't. We have learned too much. Hello. Now we can begin. And by that I mean we are about to enter the stream. Well, we are now seeing your true features, I presume. Lift your head, sir, so the court can see your face. It would appear the defense counsel assertion was entirely correct. This has all been very elaborate deception. So, witness at the court. Have you seen this man before? Ah, I don't believe it, but... See, there is no question. This is the inspector we saw in the park. Extraordinary. On the day of the Red-Headed League enrollment, the man claiming to be Inspector Gregson, who appeared before Mr. De Rosal and Mr. De Rose in the park, was you disguised as the inspector. Or rather, was you posing as the inspector in no disguise at all? Mr. Vingen, formerly employed as the chief warder at Barclay Prison. Chief warder, then your career have promised. Why would you Why, you would quite possibly have become the future governor of the prison. What on earth have you been doing peddling tales on Fresno Street? Well, it's been 10 years since Mr. Vigen worked at the prison. 10 years. I'm quite dreadfully sorry about all this. Yes, it's true. I'm Daily Vengeance. Daily Vengeance. And you are the chief wonder at the Barclay prison 10 years ago. Where... sorry. So, where did Mr. Bone come from? Bone is the other me. It's a name I invented. Well, evidently there is a great deal under the surface here. I will explain everything. I will tell you just how wretched my life has become. Are you gonna confess? As you said, it was 10 years ago now that my employment as Barclay Chief Warder came to an end. Having left the prison service, I searched for a new occupation by which to earn a wage. But times were hard in London, and I found no suitable engagements at all. In desperation, I turned my head at selling wares on Fresno Street. Well, your wife appears to know nothing of this. She still maintains that you are chief warder at the Barclay prison. I was utterly determined that my wife should not know of my failings, which is why I never told her. I opened an account at the bank under the name of Huge Bone, and I rented the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street. The scene of the very crime we are investigating. Yes, that is right. Sorry? A place from which I could emerge every morning at 8 as a squalid peddler. And transform myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about town before returning home. That quickly became the how did you sustain your house and with a wife with the money of just getting shit on the street for 10 years? What the fuck is this economy? How are you guys complaining? You guys are fucking amazing. I was puzzled about the lack of furniture in the room, but that explains it. But why on earth didn't you just tell us this in the first place? I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons, and without wishing to sound self-conceited, they regard me with some pride. I couldn't bring myself to disappoint them, so instead you decide to conceal your occupation from them. Yes. I made such a terrible mess. Homeless guy on the street has the money to sustain a house with wife and 2 kids. Holy shit. Still, one thing doesn't add up. No matter how much tidbits of information you could sell to passing gentlemen, even at 6 pence a piece, you couldn't hope to match the salary you must have commanded as a chief wonder. Okay, we are calling it. Nice. Very true. To have kept our family in comfort despite 10 years of somewhat misbegotten employment. That was all thanks to Inspector Gregson. What? Inspector Gregson, what on earth? It was some years after I invented Boney and began my other life as a street seller. How did you survive those years? The inspector, that is, recognized me one day. You mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours? I knew him from my time working at the prison. When he saw what I have become, he was deeply troubled for me and my family. And from that day forward, he visited me on Fresno Street with increasing regularity. Then, one day, he asked me if I carried out a secret assignment for him. A secret? What was it? I was to impersonate the inspector. What? Impersonate him? We always met in that little room so the inspector could brief me. Okay, we are not addressing how the fuck did he spend years sustaining the house with being a beggar. Okay. We always met in that little room so the inspector could brief me. Visit Orchid tomorrow and take a statement from the proprietress. I was always something along those lines, surveillance work, interviewing people. On those occasions, he would lend me his identification so people would believe who I was. My instructions were to make an impression, to let people know that Inspector Gregson had been at work. And for those services, he compensated me financially. Oh, so he could fake being at work so he could investigate the 10-year case. So it wasn't you investigating, it really was just Gregson. A Scotland Yard inspector willingly relinquishing his identification into your care with intent to deceive. That, as I'm sure you need not to point out, is a very serious criminal offense. Why? What's the point of impersonating him? I truthfully do not know. All I can say is that the inspector warned me on numerous occasions. Now remember, Fingen, I need your solemn word. You don't blab about this to anyone, alright? Ever. Even if, well, I end up a crocker. In time, he started bringing papers with him to the room as well. It became something of a second office for him. So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Gregson at the park on Lime Street was really... Yes, it was me, acting on the inspector orders. As usual, I removed my boogie in disguise, and then went as instructed to the park, armed with the inspector identification book. It never occurred to me that the bruise on my neck might give me away. Do you still have the bruise? Okay, what about the whole death, murder? Well, it would seem that this confession completely destroyed the defense's case. Explain yourself, Prosecutor Asugi. My learned friend's assertion was as follows. The victim was killed at another location on the day before his corpse was destroyed. At the hands of these two-headed league men when they imprisoned the inspector. Oh yeah. Oh, that is so pathetic! No, that cannot be. Oh, that is so sad. After all, it wasn't the inspector who went to the park, it was me. Oh goodness. Finally, we have clarity. Okay, so where did he went? We have nothing to do with the murder of the inspector. Merci, Monsieur de la Défense, for proving it. What? No, we are getting closer to the truth. Don't worry. Order. Indeed, it appears we have reached a de facto conclusion of sorts. These witnesses have no involvement in the murder of the victim, as proven somewhat ironically by the defense. I hereby call the end of the cross-examination. Ask him about where the inspector was that day. Pardon me, my lord, but with your permission, I would like to pose one further question to the witness. Kazuma? What question, counsel? It concerns the events of 10 years ago. I believe you will have been present at a very significant execution that was carried out at the time. 10 years ago? The execution of the professor, Genshin Asogi. Oh, Genshin was his name. How did I forget that? I want to know exactly what your involvement was. Answer me, man. One moment, counsel. Is it related to the current case? Yes! While this is, like, personal, yes, it still somehow is. It is the prosecution belief that this case and the events of 10 years ago are inextricably linked. The defense concur, counsel? Kazuma, you're not yourself. You're not as calm as collected as usual. Poor Kazuma, no wonder he's acting this. His vivid memory of what happened 10 years ago would tell the tales of Genshin Asugi's last moments. his own father. I know, I do understand that, but even so. Kazuma, I mean, Prosecutor Asugi, why do you keep saying professor? Do you genuinely believe that this question requires an answer in order to learn the truth behind Inspector Gregson's death? I need you to trust me, please. Very well, the defense has no objection. Still, in that case, you will answer the question, witness. The truth is, I remember very little of that time. You've forgotten. I'm sorry to say, yes. As I said, I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. But for some peculiar reason, the memory of the event leading up to that moment is extremely hazy. How much was manufactured? Someone was posing as you and did the incorrect execution. Does that not strike you as strange, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry, well, 10 years ago is a long time, but to have forgotten the reason why he left such an important job. Yes, you're right. And not only that, the Veggie contradicts what we already know. The human spirit is a fragile thing, it's broken out too easily. Which is why we have the tendency to wrap it up for protection. Sorry, the human spirit? I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean. When we experience pain and suffering that we feel unable to bear, we block it, obliterate it from our memories, seal it away. But it never truly leaves us. The seal is broken, the memories resurge. And when they do, that fragile spirit may finally be crushed. But I really don't... Kazuma-sama. But if it must be crushed, so be it, because the truth will not stay buried. It's coming out one way or another. Right, now I understand. It's clear what his intentions are. He means to expose the truth at any cost. Perhaps if I point out the contradiction in what Mr. Vision claimed earlier, it might cause some crucial memory to return to him, but should I? Yes. Should I? Yes. I have no idea how this is going to go, but this is the court of law, and I have the duty to pursue the truth. The Virgin, I would like you to take a look at this. How did I never inspect this? Let me inspect this. Professor Mikoto will hand art in. The dark-suited man is not the least bit untrustworthy. The man is untrustworthy. Nice young man. Oh, it looks like some sort of steamship ticket. SS Groove, first class cabin. Yokohama departure 11 September, London arrival 1 November. The boat in Mikotoba Geneva, Japan. I think it's called Durkin on the north coast. Shame to keep the ticket as a meme. It seems a shame not to keep the ticket, don't you think? I agree, I have mine in my diary. I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. How strange, where could have been gone? Are you like this on purpose? Did I imagine, was that comment accompanied by a little sign? Why? How did I never check this? So yeah, it is this. Okay. I check. Yeah. Okay.
Take that!
A few moments ago, you made the following statement. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. Well, yeah. In other words, you claim to have left the post of Chief Warder of your own volition. Well, yeah, of course. Why? Tell me. Do you remember seeing this document before? No, I don't. This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of a prison staff member employment. A dismissal notice. And the name of the notice is yours, Mr. Vigin. What? What? It's mine? So, you didn't resign from the prison service. For some reason, you was dismissed as a chief wanderer from Barclay. No, There has to be some mistake. I'm sure. I'm sure I tendered my resignation. The dismissal notice is nonsense. Isn't it? If you're forcibly dismissed, there must have been good reason. Clearly you did something. Miss Vingeon, it's time to break the seal and have you remember. According to the few remaining records, the final execution that you supervised was on the 17th June, 10 years ago. On that day, something very seriously took place at Park Lake Prison. 17th of June. Was that the professor execution? Professor? As you were the chief warder at the time, it stands to reason that you would have been present throughout the proceedings. It does sound familiar. And yet, the execution never took place. The convict, ostensibly executed earlier that day, later re-emerged from his grave. The convict came back to life. In the cemetery in the middle of the night, there was a witness. However, the witness claimed that a moment after he saw the convict clambering out of his grave, a gunshot rang from over his shoulder, and the bullet pierced the professor's chest, killing him instantly. Those may have been the professor's actual last moments. Yes. Seeing as you were in charge of overseeing executions at the time, you must have known the truth about what really happened. It's in your head, somewhere deep down. Well, Chief Wanderer Dali Vingeon, I know there are memories in your head and I can explain what happened on the 17th of June 10 years ago. And now it's time for you to drag them up. Mr. Vingeon? Yes, the whole prison. It was complete chaos. The prisoner escaped. He was killed in the cemetery. The shocking news ripped through Barclay like a hurricane. What? Order. Do you mean to say, Mr. Vision, that your memories of the time have returned? My head is... It's like some floodgate has been opened. The images, the screams. Oh my goodness. The paper. There were reports, articles about the men who have seen a ghost. Yes, Enoch Drebber. But surely those reports was exaggerated. There were traces at the scene. Traces? In Long End Cemetery, plot number 139. Blood. Lots of blood. That's where the man was buried, of course. Obviously something terrible have happened there. The depths of the conspiracy and depravity from which this tale is emerging are quite staggering. I have reviewed the police records from the time extensively. A thorough investigation was concluded by Scotland Yard. To ascertain how the convict managed to escape in the first place. And the conclusion reached by the investigation team was that a member of the police staff must have been involved. Are you suggesting that a prison warder abetted the man's bid for freedom? Yes, and I was suspected of doing it. Of using that mass murder execution as a way to help him escape. You did what? Was the kind who escaped the thief from the second case? I remember now the horror of all coming back to me. When even a few days after the execution, some detectives came to the prison. I was called to the governor's office at the top of the watchtower. Yeah, he does have an act. I'm sorry, Daly, this is serious business. And I cannot help you, know. As chief warder, you're responsible for overseeing the execution of war, huh? Well, it seems the fella at Scotland Yard wants to have a few words with you about it. You better pack your things, laddie. You're too attending person. He's getting faster. As soon as he told me that, my mind just completely blank. And the next thing I knew, the professor, the most hated killer in our country's history. And I let him escape. I'm finished. My life is over. Okay, recess for the day. Five black Psycholock broker. Yeah, I do wish they would bring back Psycholocks. I do think they could have used a gimmick somehow, kind of like it. But yeah, this man is completely broken. This is the brokest I have ever seen, honestly, in this series. Bailey, fetch a doctor at once. Courts are adjourned for today with immediate effect. Are we going to stop here?
So,
Really?
with
Ooh,
Mr.
voice
Vigil's
acting.
collapse, proceedings came to an abrupt end for the day.
Auto.
Once again overshadowed by the legacy of that notorious killer, appearing like a cursed ghost ship on a foggy ocean. Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Vigil, Kazuma, and Gregson. All of them bound by invisible chains anchored to the same wreckage in the murky depths of the past. But the miraculous light that had been trying to cut through the gloom and shine on those tragic events was playing on the edges of the truth at last.
To be continued. As much as I want to continue playing, this is a really good stop point, and we have gone over time already. Okay. The investigation on the first day was a bit, but this character room was really fun. Oh, this was fun. How long is this case still going to go? Because we really don't have any. We don't know who could have done it. I do think it's still going to be Lord Strongheart trying to silence Gregson because Gregson was getting too close to the truth. But we can't really incarcerate Strongheart because he has to be the villain of the 50 case. He has to be. So how is this case going to end? I don't know. I am looking forward for tomorrow. Oh, I am. Okay. Oh, it is late. Holy shit, it's late. So, as always, thank you very much for watching today's stream. If you're interested in watching more of my content live, I try to stream on Twitch every day. If you're interested in watching some of my old content, I try to archive every stream on my YouTube channel. Once again, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you will join me tomorrow. This was fun. I want to keep playing. But we have to stop. I need to go to bed. Tomorrow. Let's see where this is going to get us. So, bye. I don't want to stop.